payments till 2025 and 0% interest at Sutherland Nissan Orlando, home of the lifetime warranty. VIN number RL897631, MSRP 20050, VIN number 5104975, plus tax and fees and approved credit.
Have you ever heard of the 5 Ps? That's right, the 5 Ps. The 5 Ps can be applied to almost every area of your life, but it's especially true for you and your money. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and many years ago when I was a young man in the Marine Corps, I learned about the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Now, you can't control what's happening with the stock market, but you can control how you plan for it. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have been helping our clients with the 5 Ps for years. We have hearts of teachers and will never complicate by using financial jargon. Our fee structure is transparent. The more you make, the more we make. The majority of our clients come from other financial advisors. Isn't it time for a second opinion to allow Trajan Wealth to help you with the 5 Ps too? Call Trajan today at 407-213-0000. 407-213-0000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Real Radio is on Facebook at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Have you been in an accident? Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because your case matters. Contact them at whenyouneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Someone's going to get offended. It's just the way the world works. So to hopefully save everyone a little time and or energy, here's this. The opinions that you hear are those of the host and callers, and not those of iHeartMedia, its management, or advertisers. You are now listening to The Jim Colbert Show on Real Radio 104.1.
That's right, guys. Here we go on a Thursday edition of the Jim Colbert Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate that as we do every single day. And I don't really know what we have for you this afternoon or this evening, to be honest with you. But I am Jim. There's Deb.
Hello.
And Jack is here with us as well.
Let's go.
All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Find us easily on social, Instagram, Facebook at The Jim Colbert Show. On Twitter, just at Jim Colbert Show. And, of course, every day, JimColbertLive.com. We just all kind of woke up, and I'm starting to see some of the news coming out already. If you guys are out there, you want to call us and let us know what's going on with you, you can certainly do that. Again, 407-916-1041. You can also text us that at 77031. You can leave a talk back. We're doing those as well. Get that iHeartRadio app. Go to Real Radio once you get it and use your microphone to send us a comment. Let us know how things are going for you out there. Already read some pretty awful news. I don't know exactly what's going on. Have you seen the Fort Pierce stuff, Deb?
No.
Yeah. Major tornadoes down in the Fort Pierce area. And you know what? We're not going to get much news about what's happening right now other than the coordinates from the television stations on where this thing is, which I think is like right below Disney right now. But we're going to kind of lean on you guys. We've seen some pretty nasty stuff from the coast. We just saw recently that the Tropicana field over in Tampa had its roof blown off.
And that was a staging area for power utility workers.
Yeah. So that got blown off.
Surprise.
And then the other thing that that I noticed was, again, I don't know how the storm surge thing works. We were talking to NOAA the other day regarding the storm surge, I believe. You know, how the pressure builds up, or Tom Sorrells, how the pressure builds up from the storm and builds like this wall of water. Of course, once it reaches land, it's going to push up as far as possible. We heard numbers into the, teens. They're expecting 12, 13, 14, up to 15 feet of storm surge. The one photo that I saw, or the one piece of video I saw right when I woke up just a little bit ago, was that the water dam over at Tampa General held. Did you guys see that?
Did not.
Yeah. The Tampa General. I mean, those walls are about 9 feet high when they put it up. And we saw
the aqua fence.
Yeah, the aqua fence. It held. Matter of fact, the one video I've seen, other than the video that everybody has of the tree almost falling on the car, and some of the other video that's being sent in by listeners or viewers, that we saw that. I saw that Tampa General was high and dry over there. It seems like the wall of water was about halfway up. Now, I don't know where it reached. I don't know if it's done. I don't know how long the storm surge takes to complete. But that held. So I don't know how you guys are doing out there. Again, 407-916-1041. You can call us and let us know what part of town you're in. If you're in the Brevard County area right now, the number one thing I would tell you to do is probably take cover, because it looks like it's slinging those really, really nasty storms in that area. And that Fort Pierce area, which is way down south of that, that is just before West Palm, guys, the Fort Pierce thing, if I remember right?
Well, we know that
Lucie?
We know last night before the storm even made landfall that Brevard County was getting it.
Oh, yeah, Brevard.
In a big way. They had more tornado warnings than I could even shake a stick at yesterday before we even signed off the air.
And Deb, I tell you, they had, I think they had 12 major tornadoes spin off in that area in a very short period of time. Some of them led to some fatalities in a neighborhood called one of those 55-plus neighborhoods, some Spanish something Gulf.
Oh, it went for the old people?
Yeah, went for the old people.
What was interesting was reading the text
55
service.
Go ahead.
And someone saying that they had heard you describing the sound of a hurricane, or rather of a tornado, being the loud train sound, and said that they had heard that 3 times on their way home from work yesterday.
No way.
And didn't know what it was they were hearing, but then when they heard your description of it, they were like, oh,
Yeah,
I was probably just hearing one of the many tornadoes that have touched down in Brevard County.
Yeah, it was and has been and is right now a mess over there on that side of the county. And I know you guys can hear me out there. Please stay safe. I've been getting texts from family and friends. When I woke up this morning, like I said about 30 minutes ago, I just had a myriad of texts from family. So listen, I'm going to tell you straight up there. If you're out there and you have my phone number and I know you, I know you, send me a text and let me know you're okay. Because that's one of those things where I need to find out if the people I love are good. There's really no way for us to know. I mean, this building is not a catacomb by any means, but it's you can't really see out. You can hear the wind and the rain hitting the building. My daughters have texted me and stuff, and some friends have texted me. Some old colleagues have texted. Just letting know everybody's fine, and we would like to do that again. So 407-916-1041. Jack, who do we have here, buddy? I don't even have my screen caller up yet.
Morgan on line 1.
Hey, Morgan, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the program.
I'm really good, Jim. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
Jack.
Hey, Morgan.
All right, what part of town you in, dog?
Sanford, right in downtown Sanford.
Okay, so interestingly, right before I came on the air, the one blurb I did get to see, it looked like you guys are getting your ass kicked up there. How's things?
We're flooding kind of bad. Not too bad like Ian, but the water levels are high, so I'm staying up and watching things.
Yeah. How's it been? Are you with the family? Are you by yourself?
The family is sleeping. That's kind of why I'm whispering a little bit.
Good man, Morgan.
Yeah, I love that. Here's the thing. I got a little bit of sleep, maybe an hour or so. Jack said the same thing. I find it very difficult to get any rest in scenarios like this. My mind's just racing, worrying about people and things and everything like that. So I'm glad you're safe at least. Do you see the river coming up over the – it won't be happening yet, but just a lot of rain out there, huh?
Yeah, just a ton of rain. So I'm on 4th Street, a couple of blocks up. I checked the river multiple times this day, and this area is prone to flooding, so we're kind of used to it. But, just been keeping on it. Certain parts of the neighborhood are higher than others, and we're in a low spot. So.
How's the wind been out there, man? How's the wind? Again, if you look at the map, the way that the winds are whipping around, if they tell you the dirty corner is the northeast corner, I'm looking at a shot right now from Fox 35, and it looks like that's exactly where you are right now, like in the wheelhouse of this thing. And you guys are experiencing winds up there in the 40, 50, 60 mile an hour range. And I'm looking like Leesburg right now, and the villages in Bushnell are experiencing winds in the 70s and 80s right now.
We are, but it's not nearly as bad as I expected, to be honest. And actually, the wind is kind of helping us push the water away from the way it was flowing in. So the wind's actually helping my street.
Oh, really? How many hurricanes have you been through? Are you a natural Floridian? You a OG?
Natural Floridian, man. I did spend some time away. I was in the Coast Guard, so I spent some time away. But I've been listening to you guys and the Monsters and everybody since Man.
Since you're a tot?
20-something years.
Since you're a tot?
That's right.
All right, buddy. Well, appreciate your call, man. Stay safe, and if anything big happens out there, we're always here. Give us a call, and we appreciate that very, very much. Wowzers. How you doing, man? You all right? I know you had some troubles last night. You fall? You fell?
Yeah, busted my lip and my foot. I think I broke a bone.
Oh, how did you do that?
Tripping,
Oh,
falling,
man.
coming out of a studio. You didn't know that there was a step down.
Oh, no.
Hit the wall face first. It tends to bust your lip.
Oh, man.
That's all right. I've cleaned the blood up.
Oh, my goodness alive. What bone do you think? Like in the front part of your foot? Or, I mean, and what, you try to catch yourself or something?
Well, when you fall, you just kind of, whoa.
Yeah.
And end up like a marmoose. And, yeah, so.
Wow, that sucks.
Now I got to look up what a marmoose is.
Yeah. Help us out, Wisconsin. What's a marmoose?
Don't worry about it, guys.
Okay, very
Doesn't
good.
really matter.
All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031.
Diana on 3.
I got it right here.
All right.
Diana, how you doing?
I'm good. I just want to know if I'm weird.
Yep, going, yes,
I have a
next call.
two-story house, and when this is all going on, I do not like to sleep upstairs.
Oh, that makes sense.
I want to be downstairs, like just surrounded by downstairs.
Well, I'm with Deb. That makes sense. I wouldn't want to be on the second floor.
Yeah, you want to.
Me too.
Yeah, you want to be able to. I think it's a sense of control that you're looking after, right?
I don't know. My mom, my son, and my husband are all sound asleep upstairs, and I'm down here and I hear the wind blowing, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
That's why you stay awake and you're downstairs so you can alert everyone else.
Yeah, it's one thing
That's
from
right.
from flooding. You want to go to higher ground, but
Right.
with the wind and the damage, and if that's the concern, there's definitely you want to be on as close to the earth as possible.
Yes.
Because what goes up must come down.
There you go,
So
Jack.
I
there you
think
go.
there's a little more stability on that first floor.
lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're just
I,
brilliant. You're not giving
Yeah.
yourself credit for it.
Also, listen, a very cool plan to wipe out the family and live your life the way you really want to. Because
Just
if
make
it's-
sure the
You guys
insurance.
be safe.
Yeah, make sure the insurance paperwork is on the first floor
Yeah,
with you.
for sure, right.
Oh, we have it.
All right, we'll see you later, Diana. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. I don't know about I don't know what's going on in Orlando. We just heard from Sanford. That's north of the city. We know that the coast is getting its ass kicked internally here from where we look out our windows. It looks pretty gnarly, a lot of wind. Again, I had another colleague who lives over in the Winter Park area. He texted and said, it's pretty gnarly over there. He said his nephew in Tampa's house is in ruins. So, I've heard some businesses because of tornadic activity down in that St. Lucie, Brevard area have been wiped out because of the tornadoes. And again, we're not going to see a lot of this until the light breaks and all the TV stations send their people out. And by people, I mean the newbies. Because nobody with even 1 year of seniority is going out in this mess.
Well-
So you're about to see some real intern reporting here soon. It's pretty fun.
The difficulty, of course, is that once the sun sets, you don't have the same satellite coverage as you do during the day. So
I didn't know that.
One of the things that has been the most astounding has been the amount of hurricane or tornado warnings that we've received, really since we got on the air yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
When they started at about 2:00, 1:55. Just doing nothing but tornado warning after tornado warning after tornado warning. And it's frustrating. I get it, right?
Yeah.
They're just talking about what's going on the East Coast. But when there's a tornado that's been spotted on the ground, that's what we have to do.
Yeah. You have to do
'cause
that, right?
You have to. It's on the ground, and it's going to be affecting your area, and especially when they're embedded in these rain bands.
Yep.
You don't hear them. You don't see them.
That's the scary part about being here. Like, we wouldn't know. I mean, the first
No,
indication
but I mean-
something would happen here is a window coming through. I bet people are like that. Same thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but we're lucky enough that we have a generator.
Yeah.
A generator that's going to keep the building running. We have 6 inches of glass
Oh,
before
yeah.
you can get to the inside of this studio.
It's quite a bit.
How many panes of glass?
Oh, no,
do
not
you
enough.
have to go through before you're going to actually breach our windows?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
So we are dealing, but we're not dealing with what
Yeah.
everybody else is dealing with. So The tornado warnings really are the biggest threat that we've been dealing with up until now.
Yeah.
The eye has made landfall, but still, you want to keep your weather radio alert and on so that EAS can let you know when there's a tornado on the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there were over 160 tornado warnings just issued for South Florida, over 19 confirmed tornadoes, and definite fatalities. And we won't know the number for a little bit.
Yeah, they had one go through those 55-plus communities, and apparently it's not good at all. All right, 407-916-104. Let me ask you professionally, Jack, because we haven't talked before the show. Are we doing breaks today?
Yeah, 2 an hour.
2 an hour, very good. All right, 407-916-104. Let's get to Greg in Apopka. Greg, how you doing, boss?
Not too bad, I guess. We've had about 12 inches of rain. That was the biggest thing. Not too much wind. But we drained our pool 9 inches. We bought a house that is backed up to the Wekiva State Park.
Uh-oh.
And now, I have a 7-inch step down, 4 sliding glass doors with a 7-inch step down, and it's already about 2 inches up. I'm sitting on the back porch.
Well, okay, that's good. I mean, out there, that was one of the worry areas as we talked to some of the guys from the...
Deb sitting in the parting room, right?
What's that?
So was Deb sitting in the party room.
Oh,
yeah.
All right,
No,
thanks, man.
Deb fell out of the party room and busted her lip, dude. So
Anyway, back to the storm.
Yeah, it's okay. yeah. No, I just want to make sure everybody's good. I mean, look, I just saw a wind thing. It said that northern area up there, Apopka north of that is getting some pretty hardcore winds. So it was good to hear that you don't think you're experiencing that.
We actually didn't get anything. I would say I would estimate, Jim, between 40 and 50, which isn't bad. So once it's more flooding that we're actually kind of worried about up here, because 12 inches of rain is a lot.
It is, buddy, in a short period of time. Hey, do you have power?
Yep. We do.
Oh wow, that's the crazy part.
Thing.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks for your call, buddy. But listen, it is crazy. Like my house, the last text I got from my wife is the power was still on. The AC was having some issues, but the power was still on. I'm like, we got an AC guy. We can take care of that. As long as we have power, it's good. But have you gotten any reports of power at your house?
Yeah, actually, I just checked my Ring doorbell, and so I have power and internet.
Wow, and you're in the Winter Springs area. Deb, do you have power out there? Do you know?
I don't know, so I'm just about to check my Ring doorbell camera and see if we... Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, all right, very good.
Yeah, Castleberry texting in, they say they still have power. Someone else in Pine Hill say they have crackheads trying to break into businesses, and they did lose power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, if you're going to try and break into any business and someone caps your ass, congratulations.
That's on
You're
you.
dumber than everyone thought you were.
All right, Pedro, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Yeah, no, we're just sitting here having a beer, just had a chat, but there's nothing happening.
Nothing happening in St. Cloud? It's supposed to be pretty bad out there. There's nothing, no wind, no rain, no nothing?
No, I just opened the door. I went outside, and my neighbor saw the flashlight, so she came out. We talked for a little bit. We got no power, but other than that, we good.
Wow.
They got cold beer,
maybe,
dude. Don't even worry about it. To them, the storm hasn't even hit yet.
Maybe they're in the eye. Maybe you're in the eye. Was it bad a minute ago?
Because there was at the beginning, there was a little wind, but it disappeared.
It disappeared, he says. Maybe the beer helped that, buddy. I appreciate that. That usually does lessen the impact of many things. All right, 407-916-1041. Again, it can always call us. I would love updates. You can shoot us a text or a talk back letting us know what part of town you're in, if you have power, if you've experienced some wind, lots of rain.
Texters from Satellite Beach in the Patrick Space Force Base area say heavy winds right now. Also, part of Palm Bay, also over in Brevard, just lost power.
Yeah. It says power out in Eustis, power out in Mineola, power out in Deltona.
Yeah.
Bad band going through Apopka right now, no power.
I'm assuming there's no power in Mount Dora because I can't access my Ring camera.
Yeah, that would be a sign of that or the internet there.
Yeah.
By the way, we are on YouTube. It's Jim Colbert Show on YouTube. You go to YouTube, you just type in Jim Colbert Show. Boom, there we are, and you can watch us at this lovely time of day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I heard Ryan really angry that we were peppy, Jack. He didn't like that. I said, we're old-ass men. Old-ass men are peppy in the morning. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Old-ass men.
Well, we
Interesting.
Yeah, we're old men. We got it was peppy for us.
Yeah.
I walked in and grabbed my sweater because I was freezing when I woke up this morning for some reason.
Yeah. And also, they're at the end of an extended shift. And I mean, we've done that before where, you normally you do a 4 or 5 hour shift. That's usual. But when you go to 7, 8 hours, you're done thinking, because, this isn't a heavy labor job for us,
Yeah,
right?
we're not throwing
It's
sod here.
No, but mentally, you have to be constantly thinking. When you're done, you just, I just want to rest the gray matter a bit.
That's exactly what I did. Got off here. We had a couple drinks, and then I walked into my room around like 9 o'clock. I played a little video poker, like online poker, for a few minutes. Just that's what I do to tune down.
How dare you?
And I think I was.
We had playoff baseball, and you're in there playing poker.
I had no interest. I got no team in baseball. I mean, are the Braves playing?
Who?
Yeah, exactly. And even if they were, I couldn't name one player. I mean, the one player I know in baseball right now that's in the playoffs, or 2 or 3 players, are Shohei Ohtani and Bryce Harper. That's about it.
There you go. The Mets actually advanced.
Did they really?
To the NLCS. Yep.
Yes. Who they were playing the
Phillies.
They beat the Phillies.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, right? Because I know that the TV networks were dying for like a Phillies-Dodgers hookup.
Yeah. No. Well, they're gonna. Let's not rule out the Yankees here. Also, remember, because the Yankees beat Kansas City and have a 2-1 advantage in that best-of-5 series.
All right, very nice. Where do they play next?
Tonight in Kansas City.
Yeah. Man, the Royals, huh? God, I haven't heard those names since the George Brett years.
Oh, Mahomes was there in his little Royals jersey, root for the Royals. They kicked their ass, Mahomes.
All right, 407.
Screw you.
916-1041. Hey,
Let's go.
Hey, Paris, how are you up in Sanford?
I'm fine. I live out by I-4 in Sanford, and I have electricity, and it's just raining, and I want to tell you that it's so nice to have you guys entertain us all night.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, look, I would rather be here than anywhere.
I got a really important question, though, that I need to ask.
Sure.
I cannot, for anything, and it's hurting me, get my dog to go out to use the bathroom when it's raining.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty common problem.
Is it a common problem?
It is. Let me ask you a question. I can help you out with this.
I know you're going to ask me if I would want to go out.
No.
I know I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I'm not going to ask you that, but I would go out and stand in the rain rather than go to the bathroom in my own house. But I will.
Yeah.
Do you have what I like to call a princess dog?
Well, she kind of is. She's a mixture of. You'll laugh. She's part pit and lab, black lab, but she's a miniature.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of ingredients. Yeah.
It is, isn't it? But she's so sweet.
Yeah.
She's like my helping dog.
Yeah. I get that. Look, we have
support dog.
We have a little princess dog. She's a Shih Tzu mixed with a Yorkie. A Shorkie is what they're called, and she is a
princess dog.
Yeah, and she is a straight up entitled bee. Okay, she sleeps on pillows. She gets hand fed. She does not go outside when it rains. If it's a heavy dew,
they have to be taught to be that way.
Yeah, they do, and we did it. Look, we poisoned her. You did the same thing, Paris.
Well, how am I going to get her to go though?
You better.
It's going to be raining all night. How do I get her to go?
Maybe with an umbrella.
I don't know. Throw a stake out in the yard. I don't know.
It's too late to kind of do that whole kiddie pool thing.
Right, yeah. And I'll tell you something else, Paris. I mean, I don't know how big of a woman you are or whatever. That dog's, how much does your dog weigh? You know, maybe 40, 50 pounds?
She weighs 30 pounds.
Right, yeah. So you have to be very careful when you're walking that dog outside because, if there's a lightning strike or something falls and gets startled, she may run away from you. So you may just have to, make a spot where she can maybe smell something and go. I don't know. Wait a little bit. It won't be much longer before the wind kind of dies down a little bit. Maybe you can get her out there, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Paris.
Guys.
Y'all be good.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
You got it. We'll see you later.
How about that?
All right, 407-916-1041. You can text us again, 77031. Let's go back to the phones. Tracy over in Titusville. Tracy, how are you?
Oh, my goodness. I need strength, y'all.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
Do you hear this cat? He is an abandoned cat that has been abandoned long before I got here. When I moved here, he was on my front porch. So I let him in and I take care of him. I decided to bring him in for this storm, and he has been nothing but terrorizing me for 2 days now. And I'm trying to hold on strong, guys. I'm trying to keep him safe. But I want to kick him out the door so bad.
Hey, look, is there a room? Can you put him in like a bathroom or something, or something like that?
He starts tearing up.
Let him back out.
Really?
Let him back out. Let him back out. It's what he's used to.
Right, with the flash flooding and all, I'm just a little worried, and I don't want something bad to happen to him.
I know, but you know what? He's more miserable being inside than he is being outside, and so let him out. Let him out.
I had the treats. I had a cat box. I had cat food.
He doesn't give an F.
No, he does not.
He's miserable. He's being kept inside. Just let him out.
Let him go crazy in your house like it's Home Alone.
Right.
Hey,
let him back outside.
So what part of town you in? You in Titusville?
Yes, and I still have power. It's just been windy and rain.
Wow, really? Man, how lucky, because just south of you, it is a mess down there, man. So, count your blessings, and thanks for calling, Trace. We appreciate that very much. Hope you get that cat under control. I wouldn't want to have a crazy-ass cat. The thing is with dogs, you can yell at a dog to shut up, and a dog, as a rule, will hear the seriousness in your voice, and they will pipe down. Cats do not react to things like that.
No, cats don't give an F.
They don't. That cat,
they really don't give an F.
It doesn't react like that. All right, 407-916-1041. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? Welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How about you, boss?
Hanging in.
Yeah, that's good. How'd you guys do over there in the Merritt Island area? We just got a Titusville call. She said it wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, Titusville probably got, how the Space Center has the wind machines that just like to split it around. So Titusville gets it a little bit worse, and we get it slightly less.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Did you get any damage there? Any wind damage? Have you heard any tornadic activity over that way?
And not besides what everybody was talking about earlier over, I think, Cocoa, and then off Malabar 95 earlier.
Yeah.
Around us. There was the one that went through Cocoa Beach. It ripped it up, but I think we're at least 15 miles as a crow flies from there.
Oh, wow. Not too bad. You lose power?
Yeah. No, nothing, a surge. But besides that, I think we're still waiting on the worst of it. Something's got to come through here eventually.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I'm looking at it right now. It's just below Disney. And as it continues up, you should get some of those bands, but you're kind of in a real weird, almost like Goldilocks area there, where the eye is. So I think as this thing exits, it's where you're going to see your major issues there, buddy.
Every time, right?
Yeah, every time. Exactly. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate your call. All right, 407-916-1041. You can always text our program. A lot of people texting in, 77031. Just lost power in Ormond Beach. Let's see. Mount Dora is out. They still have power in Mount Dora, but and internet. But they're in the city, not the county. They're watching on YouTube. Said wind is really crazy out here. So it's out there. Let me see the Claremont one. Claremont, heavy wind and rain starting to lighten up a bit. Power out though. All right, 407-916-1041.
And we're going to see more of that now that the worst of it is coming through our area now.
I think, Deb, as it exits, the people on the coast are going to get the brunt of it there as well. And as the winds spin around, they'll change direction and
we're all going to get it.
And start kind of washing things away. Not away, but washing things up a little bit. Sean, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. Just, living the dream. Jack, I love the shirt.
Oh, he's got a Yankee shirt on, just living the dream. You a big baseball fan?
Just that UCF cutlet on his left shoulder is beautiful.
Oh, very nice. Are you a UCF grad?
Oh, of course, man. Born and raised, man, Florida.
All right, man. I appreciate. How are you doing out there in Mineola?
We're doing all right. The winds start to die down, but the wind was good. I'm right off the Mineola exit on the turnpike. It's horrible.
Oh, really?
It's always horrible.
Wow. You mean water horrible?
It's just the exits. It's always a horrible exit right there, 2 to 3 lanes.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare, and I'm right there off the exit, and we got power right now, but it's been flickering all night.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at it on the. I mean, the eye is like right. I mean, it's weird. The eye was giant. Like, look at that blurb there, guys. I don't know if you're watching the same Fox thing I'm doing, but it's like when it. There's one point where the eye opened up almost as wide as the state itself,
which is awesome because the tighter the eye, the stronger the storm.
Yeah.
For the thunderstorms that wrap around it. So for that eye to collapse, that is great news for the state of Florida because we don't have that high intensity thunderstorms move in. So that's great news.
All right, 407. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that call, man. 407-916-1041.
Texas reports no power in Mount Dora near the Walmart.
Okay, yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because the way I learned this with this last Helene storm when our power went out. I went on Duke Energy. That's our supplier, our provider. And it would show you when you would click on your area what your grid was and how many people were out of power in that grid. And it's kind of wild how that happens. Of course, everybody deals with this, right? Throughout Orlando and the surrounding areas or anywhere you live, you'll have power. The person across the street will have no power. And we experienced that in Charlie. Across the street, never lost power. We were out of power for 7 days. So you're probably going to see that a lot. We're starting to see some of the initial damage, too. From the storm, and this is in Madeira Beach. Jack, where is Madeira Beach?
Oh, I'm breaking out the globe. Hang on.
No. It's got to be. I don't know if it's on the east or west coast, but it's not
West
good.
Coast.
Is it West Coast? Wow, man, that's crazy. I've never even heard of Madeira Beach.
Oh yeah, just north of Treasure Island and south of Indian Shores, where my sister lives.
Oh wow, really? Have you contacted her?
Yeah.
Is she okay?
No. I talked to her yesterday. They were Zone A.
Oh, I see.
So they had to evacuate.
Yeah.
So she's inland.
Got it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, my wife's boss just bought a really nice place over in Sarasota, a beach getaway thing that they've been looking to buy for a while. When Helene came through, they kind of high five because they just got a little bit of water and sand in their pool. And I don't know that they fared that well this time. We'll have to find out what's going on. But, man, a lot of those properties down there, got a big surge. We saw the Tampa General Hospital. They put up their aqua fence. I saw shots from that this morning, and the water was probably about halfway up a 9-foot fence. So there was definitely at least 4.5, 5 feet of water that kind of washed into the Tampa area. But that's on an island. It's kind of weird to build a hospital in that area there. Did you know where that is? It's like on a man-made island.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
I guess they've had issues with that hospital for a while. I didn't know. I don't live over there, so I didn't pay attention to it. And by the way, you see that shot right now on 35, Fox?
Yeah.
There's that second storm. That's not that thing broken in half.
All right.
That's that storm that we were talking about, that little trailer storm.
It looks like it's just pushing it out to sea.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a smaller, like mini little hurricane, like a sidecar. But that thing is also doing damage. Look at the storm bands on that. It's the same color as the hurricane. Wow, crazy. Well, obviously, when we start getting photos and images out of the coastal areas, it is going to be harrowing. 407-916-1041. Who's been holding the most here? Let's go to, hey, Roger, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, how are you? Hey, there's a 3-question situation. I want each one of you guys to answer it honestly.
Okay.
I want to start with Deb. Hey, Deb, did you ever work in New York City 107 or 10-something XL up there?
No, I only worked in Central Florida.
Okay, my dear. Jack, I met you at the park in, what is it? Like not Lake Eola. What's the one in Altamont?
Crane's Roost.
Yes, sir. Man, you have the cutest, loveliest hairdo, and I ain't got stuff. But now I'm running to Jimmy. Jimmy and I, we're both bald-headed, but how can you teach us how to keep a good hairdo?
Oh, my God, buddy. I listen.
You're missing the first ingredient required.
Which is?
Hair.
Hair, buddy. I'll do the old joke. I am follically challenged. I do not have hair. Can I tell you? I'm happier because of it. I look better because of it. I feel super sexy with my bald head. It is unkempt right now. And Jack, did he say your hair was good? He gave you a hair compliment there?
Yeah, I believe it was.
You know what? I think it was as well. And can I tell you? Duly deserved.
Thank you.
Duly deserved. He didn't even let us ask him anything about how he's doing. He just started spitting salad. All right, let's get to this, guys. Hey, Torin, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Oh, great, Jim. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, bud. We're high and dry over here in Maitland. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. I'm out here in a subdivision off of Lake Pickett and Tanner behind UCF.
I know where you are.
I just want to say it's cool to see Jimmy, Jack, and Deb, a bunch of veteran hosts, hold down the graveyard shift. You guys are killing it.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. You guys dealing with any econ flooding out there? You know, the weird thing that nobody really talks about is how bad UCF and that area out there can flood when it starts raining a lot, because that little econ and those little tributaries that kind of run off that thing can't accept large amounts of water. We saw that during Ian when it came through and Seminole County flooded. Are you guys doing okay out there?
Yes, from everything I could see, all the little zones where I guess the cloud had come from, everything's flowing through good there. All the retention ponds, they're not overflowing yet, but they're getting close. But yeah, the econ is right there.
Wow.
But I just want to say props to everybody, the Real Radio family. Every different shift held it down, and you guys are just the best in Florida.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that so much, Torin, man. Stay safe out there. We appreciate your call as always. All right, 407-916-1041.
The break we have is 6 minutes, so if I combine the two of them, it's only 6 minutes, so we can just do one break in the hour.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm getting messages from people. Fayez just texted us.
Yeah, I told him to zoom in. Where is he?
Yeah, he needs to zoom in and talk to us a little bit. He's up in Canada, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know he's supposed to be coming down this weekend. Maybe his plans were altered. He was coming back home this weekend. They stay up in Toronto. I think they have some friends they stay up there with. Or no, they have a place up there. They go up during the summer. He is from Canada. Don't hold that against him, by the way. His wife is still cool. But if you're listening, buddy, if you're up there kind of zooming in, give us a call, buddy. We'd love to hear from you. And you can zoom in and talk to us for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, 407-916-1041. So we will stop. We'll take a little break. We'll do this now, Jack. You want to go ahead and do that?
Sure.
We'll do.
But then we only have one break this hour, so anytime you want to take it.
Well, do you want to do 3 and then 3 at the top just to kind of get a little breather, or no?
Okay, we can do that. So this will be 2.5 minutes.
All right, real quick.
Yeah, sure.
What do you need from me? Because I need to make sure I'm prepared.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. We're just trying to get the news. If you want to grab some storm information to find out where it is and what kind of winds we're dealing with, that'd be great. Does that sound good? All right, 407-916-1041. Take a little break. Back in a sec.
Storm coverage on Real Radio is sponsored by Kaufman and Lind. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because your case matters. Contact them at whenyouneedus.com or dial #546 on your cell phone.
If you missed our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Las Vegas, make some noise!
Watch the best moments exclusively on Hulu right now.
All right, you guys are out for a party, I can tell.
See the biggest festival headliners from around the world assembled on one stage on one show.
This iHeart energy is so incredible.
See it all at our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Streaming only on Hulu right now.
The return of Trans-Siberian Orchestras, The Lost Christmas Eve. Don't miss the all-new show. Saturday, December 14th, 2 shows. Kia Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Do you have information about a violent crime? Help solve crimes with your anonymous tips at crimeline.org. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your tips make a difference. Say it here. It's anonymous at crimeline.org. Paid by CSTF.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-915-8941. 800-915-8941. That's 800-915-8941.
This is where horror lives. Silence your screams if you want to survive the terrifying post-apocalyptic world of A Quiet Place. It's just one of the terrifying haunted houses you'll experience at Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights. Select nights August 30th to November 3rd. Not recommended for children under 13.
Log on to realradio.fm/contest for your chance to win tickets to Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights.
Here's how to avoid a top mistake in divorce. Text messages and social media posts can wind up in front of a judge. Act accordingly. Don't post like a fool. Divorce? Trenley Kramer Law. TK Law. OneFirmForLife.com. Milton.com.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
In Office Orlando. Real Radio is on Instagram at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Have you been in an accident? Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
You're listening to The Jim Colbert Show, also available to watch. Yeah. At The Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. I am Jim. Deb and Jack are here as well. If you're out there, you can give us a holler. We would love to hear from you. See how you're doing. I see some people from Belle Isle, Rio Pinar, in that area there. Matter of fact, let's go to this Rio Pinar call. Actually, let me do this, Sid. Sid's been holding for a while. Hey, Sid in Belle Isle, how are you?
What's up, Jimmy? How's it been?
Buddy, it's good up here. How are you?
Good. I was just calling and report a little bit. But, yeah, man, I'm glad it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
You know what the funny thing is, we kind of heard coming in from Tom Sorrells that the eye wall had broken down. The winds had gone down to like 100 miles an hour. Then we got some conflicting reports from the news stations. They were saying like 120 mile per hour. Now, if you go over and you look at the stuff from Tampa, you can see there's obviously a lot of wind. Matter of fact, the shot we're seeing right now, still a lot of wind. But man, internally, there are only a few places in the air that really saw big winds.
Sure. Yeah, I'm right here on Lake Conway, man. And I tell you, I'm happy that it's not that bad. I thought it was going to be Charlie times 2, but there are a few little branches in the road, and it's not even raining right now. So I'm happy with it. But, yeah, just checking in on that for sure.
Oh, very good. And Belle Isle is South Orlando, right? You're down off of Orange Avenue in that area? Is that right?
Yep, right by the airport, Lake Conway area. Yeah, I own a pool business, and I'm even happier that it's not that bad because, my Friday and the rest of the week would be pretty bad if it was. But,
yeah. What do you do for a living?
I own a pool business.
Oh, you do? Well, boy, you're going to be very busy when it's all done, aren't you?
Yes, I will be.
Yeah. I have to ask, do you now, this sounds ridiculous, but is that part of your normal service? Like, is there a hurricane price or is there an extra cleanup price if things get really nasty for you?
All my customers are friends of mine. There's a bunch of them, but I made friends with all of them, so I don't upcharge anybody. So it's just business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what it is. Yeah.
That keeps clients, by the way, when you act like that and treat people nice.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
It definitely does.
All right.
You know how that works.
All right. Well, stay safe out there, big dog. All right. And we wish you the very best. And then tomorrow, clean up. And again, stay safe. We appreciate that very much. All right. 407-916-1041.
We definitely need an update on what the northern part of this storm is doing, like in Canada.
Yeah. Fayez Kara, how you doing? Welcome to the show. By the way, you can see him on youtube.com/The Jim Colbert Show. Go up there and check him out. Fayez, how's things?
Oh, good. I'm trying not to speak loud.
You can,
can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Wait, how far from a sleeping wife are you right now?
I'd say about, I would say about maybe 15 meters.
15
meters.
meters.
That's how you know he's Canadian. He gives us the old meters.
Yeah, I think, but let me translate for you. In American, that's 3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't know, maybe 30 feet. 30 feet.
Boy, you guys, weren't you scheduled to come back to Orlando this weekend?
That was the plan. So we were going to drive on Friday morning, head to D.C., spend the night in D.C., and then take the auto train, the Amtrak auto train on Saturday for a Sunday arrival. But they had canceled the Tuesday train, they canceled the Wednesday train, and they canceled the Thursday train. And we're thinking, I think this is trending towards likely a Saturday cancellation of the train. So we said, you know what, let's just play it safe and postpone the trip down another week. So we're going to come down the following Friday because we didn't even if, the hurricane passed. We didn't want to come into a situation where we didn't have any power and we don't have any groceries. And so we thought, let's just wait it out. And yeah. So, by the way, if you guys can, after the show, if you can just swing by our place there, and, make sure there's no leaks, trees.
We can check on things for you. We got a special letter that says we're allowed to drive.
I've got a special letter.
So how is it there?
Okay, so it is weird. I was talking to some of our listeners here a second ago, and we're in a corporate building that's built very sturdily. So we're a bit insulated from this. The view we have is like everybody else. You look out your window. We have some parking lot lights that allow us to get an idea of what the wind and rain are doing. It is very windy, very rainy. But I think Orlando proper has been spared the brunt of this so far. Again, as it exits Fayez, we don't know. But I mean, as I can see out there, I don't see a lot of damage in the parking lot, like trees down or anything like that. But we're just started. We've only been on the air 40 minutes, and we just started kind of getting reports from people, and we're hearing wind and rain. We had a guy out there then on the Wekiva River out in the Sanford area the water is definitely coming up, and it's going to continue to do so, by the way. But other than that, I mean, we did have some bad tornadoes down in the Port St. Lucie area that have unfortunately taken a few lives. And that was the scary part we knew going in. The weather.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Tom Swirls kept saying, this thing's going to spin off a lot of tornadoes. And even before we went to our break last night at 7 o'clock, we were getting those things. The EAS was just going ape-s, man. It really was. It was going crazy. Like every few minutes, there was an EAS. I mean, so we were telling people to listen to the stream. It doesn't get affected by it. And then stay tuned to the news stations to see where the threats were.
One of the local stations there, I can't remember which one, it might have been WFTV, I think, was saying that there was a record number of tornado alerts. I think 120 odd alerts, and that was like a record for Florida.
Yeah.
But the other thing they were saying, I think, on the Weather Channel is that it's the back end. It's the the back part of the hurricane that'll I don't know, increase the winds, and there's like a cold front as well that's adding to
the rain issues,
the wind speed.
In
all addition to the rain, it's actually going to have create windier conditions.
So if you have an eye on the Weather Channel, can you tell us where in Florida is Jim Cantori?
He is in a sort of like a parking lot in a above ground parking structure. Looking at the ground level and how it's starting to flood, and I think he's comparing it to Hurricane Helene. And how much what the water level was for Helene, and comparing it to then. He said it's similar, but then they're talking about the tide. That's going to have an effect as well, and so they're already saying that. St. Pete. I think St. Petersburg is a terrible mess. There's a crane down the roof off the the Trop.
The Tropicana field. I don't think any one person is more associated with hurricanes than Jim Cantori.
And I don't think there's not one human being that's got more juice than that guy.
Remember, I don't know if you remember last year, I was talking about the Ocala Food and Wine Festival. It took place in November. So anyway, he was one of the guests there. So, we got to hang out a little bit. And to be honest, I had no idea who he was. Other people have to say, that's the guy from the Weather Channel. I'm like, okay, I don't really watch the Weather Channel. I'm supposed to know that's the guy. Anyway, so since then, of course, you watch the Weather Channel. I'm like, okay, that's Jim Cantori. So he's really just sort of like parked himself in this parking lot structure, watching the water level rise. He hasn't really gone out to other parts of the Gulf.
He's a vet, dude. He's not going to put his ass out there. He knows better than that. The track we just had up on the screen while we were talking to you, by the way, on the phone with us, Fayez Cara. And by the way, you have a segment tomorrow, so don't think we're skipping out on that.
Oh,
no, I'm joking. We're not going to do a segment.
Oh, you're not? No.
Hey, we'll be talking about that'll be first light today. We'll get an idea what's going on. What I was about to say is this thing around 8 o'clock this morning is going to be offshore. So theoretically by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, we would have here locally, Central Florida area. Not the coastal areas, would have seen like the worst it has to offer as it kind of spins offshore. I'm looking at it. Jack has it up right now. Right in the dead center of the state. about 45 miles west-southwest, I believe, of Cape Canaveral, with winds at 90 miles per hour, northeast movement at 16 miles per hour. So it's going up and out. I'll tell you, yesterday, buddy, I saw a track saying that they evacuated St. Augustine proper, like downtown. They told people to get out of there. They're expecting surges up there that are going to be like pretty bad. And you look at the spin rate here, and you can see where those big spinning red, like nasty storms, and it's right over St. Augustine as the thing spins left going out.
And it's going to happen right at the crack of dawn. And on the Gulf side, they were saying that they really won't be able to survey the damage until the sun comes up, and that's when they'll get a true gauge of the destructive power of Milton.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you calling in and checking in. We appreciate that very much. I'll get with you tomorrow, boss, and let you know how things worked out for us. Okay.
Yeah. Let me know anytime. You guys be safe.
You're the best, man. All right, 407 916-1041. Text us 77031.
Nice fella.
He is a nice fella.
Yeah.
Deb not feeling that well, guys. She just stepped out, going to get some rest.
She banged up her foot. It was her foot?
Yeah, when she came around the corner earlier, she had a really noticeable hobble.
Yeah.
And I guess she was over at Roomba.
A hitch her and get along.
Yeah, hitch her get along. Over at Roomba, getting what is that?
A cappuccino.
What is that?
Some type of coffee drink.
Is it coffee?
Yeah.
And I guess
I assume
there's a step down coming out of that studio,
Yeah.
and she didn't know it and took a tumble. So she's gonna take the morning off. Maybe we'll get.
That's the worst when you go to take a step and it's not where you think it is. And you just whoa, another 6 inches till you hit terra firma.
Oh yeah. All right, 407-916-1041. Let's get to these guys. They've been holding for a while. Hey, Laura in Palm Bay, thanks so much for holding. We appreciate that. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. It's a little windy. Just a little.
That's so funny. There are voice tones with humans.
Yeah.
That you know.
I'm hanging in.
That pensive yes. What are you experiencing over there in Palm Bay? That's in the Melbourne area?
South of Melbourne.
Yeah,
South of Melbourne.
South end of Brevard County. My boyfriend and I were sitting outside on our back porch watching the wind blow the trees and everything, seeing our neighbors out with their flashlights. We just lost power about 2 o'clock.
How are you listening to us?
We are listening on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, very
Fantastic.
nice. Yeah, I love
Excellent.
that.
Yeah.
So you guys.
The iPhone, so the signal is very good.
Yeah. As a rule, people yelling from the back. It's hard to.
You tell him to pipe down, Laura.
Yeah. Tell him to make me an omelet. I'm hungry.
Yeah, tell him this is your time to shine.
You guys bring me some breakfast.
Let me ask you, while my porch is getting ready to get torn apart, how many beers deep are you?
How many beer? I did not have one beer tonight. I had a couple old fashions a little bit earlier, and I went to sleep, and I'm all fine.
Yeah, little Maker's Mark. That's
Maker's Mark. That's about it. Just take off edge and help me go to sleep. So Laura, you guys, thanks so much, and stay safe over there, please. We appreciate that. Thanks for your call. You guys are having a good time out there, guys.
Yeah, well,
everybody's out there having a good time.
You got a nice breeze.
Got a nice little breeze on your back porch. That's what happens until you get that one little whip through there, and then you're like, okay, inside. We'll just take this inside.
So the storm right now is Category 1 and just due south of Orlando.
Yeah. The wind's pretty good though, Jack. I'm looking at it right now. What is that's 192 Willamoon? I don't even know where that is. Is that here?
Oh, wait a minute.
That's not in Orlando. That's the whole of Paul area. Oh, you son of a bitch out there. At this time of day, Jack?
Yeah.
During this situation,
I don't know where Willamoon is.
Okay, very good. Hey, Tony, how you doing over in Rio Pinar? How's things?
Hey, things aren't too bad. Our street, we have power, but I guess the lift station is a street over, which they don't have power, so we can't flush our toilets, you know what I'm saying, because of backwash or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
How'd you find out?
Well, I went to Wawa earlier, and Funyuns has some new flavors.
No, I meant that the lift station is out. That you can't. Did they tell you not to flush? Did they alert your phone or?
This happened last time during Ian, and that's how I found out. I guess when the power goes, it's so unfortunate that they ran the grid that way because my neighbor to the right of me, everything's working for his plumbing. It's just me because we're connected to that side over there by the clubhouse, and we got a little bit of flooding in the street now, but not like Ian, where it was like a 3/4 of the way up of a car parked on the street. Now it's just maybe a foot. Not too bad. They cleared out things. So, but Jim, as you know, it's got to go toward the Econ and then the St. John's, and all that's getting filled up. So I don't know how quickly it's going to,
And you got to tell you, Tony, thanks for your call, buddy. I appreciate that very much. But the other thing is, it sped up quite a bit, 17 miles an hour. I think it's going 16 now. So, I don't know how that's going to affect. I think that's probably a big positive for the water amount, because obviously it can only drop so much as it moves through. You don't want it going through slowly and dropping that amount. So I think that also may be another blessing.
I mean, just 24 or 48 hours ago, projecting that, landfall would be after midnight, and this happened before 10 p.m.
Right.
And or landfall right about now, where currently the storm is already, center of the state.
Yeah.
Moving forward at that clip, but it's still a hurricane. It's still a Category 1, 90 miles per hour.
That's amazing,
winds,
man. Yeah, that's amazing. When it hit, as we were talking to Tom Swirls a little bit yesterday, last night. When it hit, he thought that it would dissipate pretty quick as well. But, when you have that much momentum, as a 3 when you hit and you're going 16, 17 miles an hour, that allows you to kind of get inland with higher wind speeds. I guess that's the drawback of having it come by kind of quickly, is that, it maintains its strength as it crosses. Now, usually, with no water powering it, as we've seen in the past, when this thing kind of gets over land, they fall apart pretty quickly. You get your wind, you get your rain, but you don't really get the damaging winds, and you don't have the spin-off tornadoes as much. But it looks like, we have the full brunt of that. We're watching Fox 35 right now. I'm not really sure who this young lady is, but it looks like the wind speeds are still, right now, the gusts are in the Villages areas, Bushnell, the Land, Leesburg, 80-mile-an-hour plus gust right now. Because just like it said around Wednesday early, that it was going to maintain its path, come straight across Orlando. And I mean, the eye is literally passed right over South Orlando. Bring it up.
A little bit of a combination of both, especially along the East Coast. But that is the latest look. We will, of course, keep you posted of all things as this kind of evolving situation. So we will keep you posted here through the next several hours leading into Good Day Orlando. But I'll send it back over to you guys at the desk.
There you go. Okay. By the way, somebody was asking, how do you watch us live? It's just shacking myself right now, but you can do that. Jim Colbert.
Never say it that way again.
Yeah. It's myself and Jack. But go to JimColbertLive.com. You can click right through, or go to YouTube.com. Just type in The Jim Colbert Show. You'll see the live right there. You can watch us do our thing here in the studio, which is just basically trying to give you as much information as possible so that you can make better decisions for you and your family there as we kind of storm and ride this storm out.
Oh, you ready for some overnight talkbacks?
Oh, yeah. Let's get some overnight talkbacks.
All right. Hey, give me a second.
Sure
I got them right here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Wait, I got to find them. Oh, here we go. No.
By the way, coastal areas averaging 60-mile-an-hour winds up there, and north of, and what we're just like Ormond Beach area, Jack, I just saw experiencing like 70-mile-an-hour gusts up there. Got some talkbacks?
I do actually have to find them. I've got like 5 dozen open windows right now.
Okay, very good. All right. 407-916-1041. You can always text us at 77031. Guys, saying we're getting hammered in Daytona, literally and figuratively. Let's see what else we have here.
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Howdy do, Cobra Crew. You know who.
It's not you.
I just love that guy. Sorry, Deb. Man, that's a bummer. I'm so awake. I'm not drinking or anything. It's just this low pressure.
All right. Yeah. Altamont Springs checking in. Said all good here. I would like to know where the power is out. I mean, it's kind of surprising how much people still have power. You agree with that? Like Castleberry still has power. We haven't lost power. We're not on generator power right now, are we?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
We're in Maitland.
Yeah. I have power at home.
Jack has power at home in Winter Springs.
Wife just texted me.
Yeah, they just lost power on the coast. That young lady just said they lost it at just 2:00. So maybe this rebuild won't be so bad.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I can't even, as I'm saying it, I said to myself, why am I saying it?
This won't be bad at all.
As not to jinx myself about anything.
We're fine.
Yeah. All right, 407-916-1041.
Here's a dog back.
Hey, Jim, can you tell us how Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach is doing
Thanks.
All right. Well, I was just saying that, according to the wind speeds that I saw on Fox 35, which we're monitoring as we speak, it looked like the winds were pretty bad up there in that Daytona Beach area. I mean, somebody just texted us and said that Daytona was getting absolutely hammered, and the wind speeds showed that you guys were getting gusts in that area up there in the 70-mile-an-hour range. I'm not sure about the erosion or the storm surge. It was also supposed to be pretty significant up there north of Daytona and Daytona itself because of the way that the winds are coming on shore. We heard from Mike Chitwood; they were expecting quite a mess. What do you got?
We got Lynn from Melbourne Beach.
Okay, very good. Let's get to Lynn. Hey, Lynn, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so glad you guys are on.
Well, thank you.
It's so nice to hear something besides the hurricane weather. But anyway, I have a question. I want your opinion.
Okay.
What is worse? Is it having all this crap happen at night where you can't see what's going on, or during the day when you can?
You know what? I will tell you, and this is a little morbid fascination on my part, but when I found out the initial track and speed, this thing was going to be hitting us yesterday.
In the daytime.
In the daytime, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when we were coming on the air. And I'm not going to say I was excited about it because that would be a terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
But to be able to see one, because if you look, like the last 3 or 4 of these things that we've dealt with, they've come through in the middle of the night.
That's right.
And
yeah.
I would rather be able to see it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big surprise guy, so I don't like waking up and going, oh, look, Merry Christmas. Everything's done.
Yeah.
I would rather kind of watch it in real time and kind of assess what's going on in real time. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I can't decide. I guess I've never been through one that during the day. That's happened during the day, so I really can't. I don't know. I just wondering what other people, what their opinions are on it.
You got it. Well, Lynn, I appreciate it. Do you guys still have power in Melbourne Beach?
I do. Wow. I have power. I have a big house. I live alone. I'm very scared, but I'm trying to take deep breaths and keep myself.
Well, why do you live in such a big house? Just a single with just a little bit of you.
Tell him because you can. Because I can, Jimmy.
I moved. We moved here in '67, and when I got married, I moved away. But my mom was doing poorly, so I moved back in with her. And both my other sisters are moved away. One's in Orlando, but she passed away, so I have this 4-bedroom house all to myself.
Oh, goodness. Well, I mean, I hope all's well for you. I hope you keep your power and stay safe. We got you covered. If you need anything else, we'll be right here. Give us a call, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you, Lynn. I just got a text saying it's really all caps gusting in Eustis.
So right now we're looking at still a Cat 1, 85 miles an hour, but it is moving northeast at 16 miles an hour. So it's like approaching Brevard now.
Yeah. We have a guy that, a number of the people who text the show, Ryan Holmes started labeling their names. We could kind of get an idea who it is. And this gentleman from Ormond Beach, I won't say his name or whatever, but is a regular texter. And he said, still no power in Ormond, getting hammered with wind and rain, and the water is coming up. So that person was asking about the Ormond Beach. That is exactly what's happening there. All right, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in a second with more of the Jim Colbert Show.
Storm coverage on Real Radio is brought to you by New South Window Solutions, Florida's only factory direct window company. Their windows are made in Florida for Florida homes by Florida workers, and they're guaranteed for life. Visit newsouthwindow.com for more information. Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because you matter. Contact them at whenyouneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
2025s are here. It's the model year-end event at Sutherland Nissan Orlando. Check out the bold and colorful new 2025 Kicks or used cars from $8,968. And your credit problems are no problem at Sutherland Nissan Orlando, home with a lifetime warranty, plus tax and fees with approved credit.
Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Camping World Stadium March 1st. Brought to you by BKT Tires. You have to see it live, so don't miss it. Lock in your seats today at monsterjam.com.
I'm sitting here with Jeff Jr. of Trajan Wealth. Jeff, I'm concerned because we're in an election year, right? Which, sure to shake things up and all that. But last year was a great year in the market, and it's just not looking so good this year.
Well, yeah, the market is cyclical, and that's why it's a perfect time to diversify and lock in some of those gains. You may even qualify for an upfront bonus of up to 30% just for opening an account, and up to 12% guaranteed growth for your retirement income.
Up to 30% for just opening an account, and up to 12% per year, all guaranteed?
Yeah, and you probably won't hear many other advisors talking about this because they don't have access. I will say it's because of the high interest rate climate we're in, and this probably won't last long.
If you're concerned about what this messy election could do to your finances, call Trajan Wealth today and learn how to get up to 30% bonus and up to 12% growth per year for retirement income. Call 407-213-0000.
Annuity guarantees are based on claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states says Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Paid advertisement.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Call A1 Garage today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1 from day one.
Hey Orlando, get ready for your real estate journey with Nickley's Believe It or Not. Did you know the Nickley Group sells the most homes in Central Florida? They actually sell one every 9.7 hours. The Nickley Group sells homes twice as fast and for 6% more on average. Yeah, that's approximately $25,000 more for your home. Why? Because the Nickley Group with Keller Williams Realty does real estate differently. Don't believe me? Google them. They have over 3,000 five-star reviews. Get your own dedicated team of local experts and experience the difference. For a guaranteed cash offer on your home today, call the Nickley Group. Visit thenickley.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
In Office Orlando. Real Radio is on Threads at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Have you been in an accident? Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
We now return to the Jim Colbert Show.
No, I'm like voice record. Anyway, I just want to say hi, Laura. I'm also in Palm Bay. I believe you're my coworker. It's Dennis. I hope it's you. I also lost power. Hope everything's good. And I also will be out on Friday. So, yeah, have fun with that stuff. Bye.
God almighty, man. I got to tell you, man, by the way, welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. You can always text the show, 77031. Those are talkbacks you're hearing. That's easy to do. While you're sitting there waiting for the storm to pass through, you can leave us something, a little quip. We'll do that. Just go to your iHeartRadio app, go to Real Radio. You'll see a microphone there. Just use that to send Jack your comment. Yeah, just starting to get some photographs and some information and video. I'm watching social now, and people are posting up. And man, the Keys are also. Earlier we had a static camera. I don't know if you have those. It won't matter because it's dark. You had a static camera from St. Pete. We had one from Clearwater, and then we also had one from the Keys showing that
the southernmost point.
Yeah, the southernmost point. Yeah. And people are up there. Oh, it's splashing. It's fine. Blah, blah. And I just saw a storm surge push in Key West that washed over someone's balcony.
Oh, damn.
So, things have changed down there dramatically, which is wild because it's so far north, but this was a gigantic storm. It covered pretty much the entire state. And it's so funny, south of us, as I'm watching the track right now from NBC and then the one from Fox as well, the track shows that below the Sarasota area, the bottom part of the storm really isn't that gnarly. It's what's above the storm that's really bad. You look at that above Orlando, all those storms going up the coast, you Ormond Beach guys, Daytona Beach guys, the Flagler guys, all you guys can hear us up in the St. Johns County area where we come in up there, but it's a little faint. But, Man, that's really nasty up there.
It's one of the unique things about this storm, besides the fact that this late in the season, moving from west to east from the Gulf, is the direction it's moving. If you're looking at that as the top, then it's that top right. That's supposed to be the dirty side. But it's the opposite. It's the left side, the side we're on, that is definitely getting more of the activity. That said, it didn't, the whole state was, and a lot of southern Florida was dealing with the tornadic activity.
Yeah.
Earlier in the storm, or I guess last night.
Yeah.
You got to remember, it's Thursday now. This has been the longest week at prepping for this.
It's so wild.
I just remember on Sunday when you're watching football, getting the reports, it's like, oh, we're going to have to deal with this. And then it was, from that point, just full-on hurricane prep.
Yeah, the first thing I did when I woke up a little bit ago to come back on the air was kind of reassess what blanking time it was, where we were, what day it was. And the funny thing is, I sat up and I'm like, oh, God, at least tomorrow's Friday or Saturday. And I was like, no, it's not. We still have another show to do tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be back on the air this afternoon at 3 o'clock, our normal time, for the Jim Colbert show as we get out of here and get a little rest.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I mean, depending on, you're staying the remainder of the day, you have to as a PD, right? Yeah, I was telling Deb a little bit earlier this afternoon or this evening or whatever that, if we get on the air this morning at 5 o'clock and I looked outside, it wasn't that awful. I'd maybe go home and sleep so I could get some sleep, but that didn't sleep real well last night.
Yeah,
in a cramped room on a twin air mattress.
Yeah.
Doesn't really provide you with a lot of rest, but we're just kind of going on coffee power right now.
Yeah, I was great. I had a nice couch.
Yeah. Deb also had a nice couch. I didn't choose my room fast enough. Deb understands this better than anybody. She ran over on Wednesday like that morning when we knew we were going to be staying over, and claimed her space because the couches in that room fold out to a bed. So she was all set for sure. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Let's get to James here. James, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm on the 417, about to hit the 428 or 528. I got a really interesting story for you.
Go ahead, man.
So 2 years ago with Ian, my house flooded. Right, I'm on the north side of Lake Ashby on 415, and it flooded south. Right, so rain hit us today. Creek rose. I got a creek that's like the center of my property, and it came up really quick. And about an hour ago, it crested. I jumped in my truck. I'm heading to my cousin's house near SeaWorld. Wow.
Yeah, man, you got to do that. I can't believe you're driving.
Well, my wife's driving.
Oh, you're the best, buddy. I appreciate it.
I got the 2 kids in the truck, 2 dogs. We're riding down. We're heading south on 417 right now. The traffic is great.
Yeah. You got the place to yourself. Yeah, I was saying that we were we came in just yesterday. I mean, just on a Wednesday in the afternoon. I was telling Deb, it was like 28 days later, like nobody was on the roads. It was actually a little creepy in the dead center of the day. In the rain, you go on a major highway out there, and there's literally nobody. It is a little odd, but thanks for your call, James. You guys stay safe out there.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. I would not want to have to be in a truck right now with my family.
Oof.
I would not want to have to drive or relocate, but you're doing the smart thing, boss. I mean, you got a better chance doing that than you do staying there and having that creek come up and cause you some major problems. Then it's too late. I was talking to, who was I talking to yesterday?
A lot of people.
I know.
You did a show.
But it was somebody off the air that said that their kid was in Sarasota.
That was Rick's son.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't get a chance to evacuate fast enough, and he kind of got stuck there. That's what happens. I mean, when these things come, it's like prepping with supplies.
Yeah.
By the time you realize, oh, crap, I need this, everyone else has already done it. And the Floridians kind of already know. And if you're new to this, by the time you try to get your generator, your gas cans, your gas, your ice, your water, that stuff has been looted, man. It's gone. I kind of got caught up in it this weekend too, because as we're prepping for the show, my wife has a busy career. We don't have time. We really don't have time. We average, 10, 12-hour days. So, we leave in the morning and we come home when it's dark, and there was no prep time. I mean, I barely got time to prep my own property because of our responsibilities here. But
Well, you're also in a new place. This is the first time you're going through a storm. For me, it was just finding the things. And one thing that I started doing this year at the beginning of hurricane season, every time I went to Costco, I got a case of water. Even if I didn't need it.
Smart.
So I've got 5 cases stacked.
Yeah,
and I just, I figured every time you hear, like Sunday, we heard about this storm, right? That's when we all became aware. You already, by Sunday night, there was run on stores and stuff.
Yeah.
Who wants to deal with that?
Yeah.
Right?
And again, Central Floridians kind of understand. But the other thing, too, is kind of weird is, we have had so many close calls. And we've heard, forecasters tell us so many times that this is going to be the one, this is going to be this. And then, of course, to have it wobble one way, go, or like the Matthew, looked like it was going to be a barreling runaway sand truck into the coast over there near the Space Center, and then wobble enough just to kind of take a right and really save the impact for, another time. It didn't turn out that badly. And you get a little jaded, it's a cry wolf thing.
Yeah.
So you figure, this is going to be another one of those that kind of peters out or whatever. But, like Tom Sorrells was saying yesterday, and the guys from Fox 35 kind of agreed, the technology is so much different than it was even 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was talking about how exponentially different it is and how really finite they're able to kind of whittle these things down and give you an idea of where it is. And, they were pretty right. It's not almost exactly what they said.
Yeah, so late 80s, he was talking about Hurricane Hugo when that projected that cone of uncertainty where it went from the Keys all the way up to South Carolina. That's a pretty wide swath. It ended up hitting South Carolina.
Yeah.
But now we take it for granted. It's much more narrow.
Right.
But we kind of focus on that center line, but the storm is always so much bigger than that. What's concerning about this storm is they keep saying it's similar to Ian, which was 2 years ago when Ian came through and all the flooding, especially in Seminole County, in Winter Springs, flooding that I never expected. And G Creek is a tiny little, maybe 3 inches of water in some parts.
It's a brook.
Yeah. It is a brook.
It's a babbling brook.
But the way all this water. So tonight is the wind coming through and rain.
Okay.
But then it's also all that rain as it starts flowing and all those tributaries. They swell up, and I was shocked at all the houses along G Creek and middle of a development in Winter Springs. Had their whole first floor flooded in Ian.
No way.
Yeah. And so you saw, this was all 2 miles from my house.
Wow.
So on my regular bike ride, they have all, it ends up all their first floor, furniture and everything, all at the curb.
Yeah.
And then for months after that, everyone had a pod, in their driveway.
Yeah.
As they all, and then finally,
I know exactly what you're talking about, by the way. We had a former employee that had 6 inches of water. They have a sunken den.
Oh, yeah.
And Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a sunken den, and apparently they had water in that room for weeks before it would go down, and they were able to get it out of there. So that same area, and I think, Howard, did you see the video from Rick's backyard from last year that he posted up before this hit?
That thing creeps right up to his house.
But it is, that is hairy.
Yeah, that's the same creek, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My wife just texted and said it's really, really bad at the house right now. She's heard 4 trees fall, and one apparently is really big. And I just asked her to call if she could. I don't know if she will or not. She doesn't like being on the air, really. But
unless she's yelling at you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite. That's Christmas for
I told
me.
my son, we just got our chainsaw blade sharpened and everything like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I told my boy, I said, buddy, listen. I said, don't plan anything for Saturday and Sunday. It's tractor time. We're going to get out there and start cutting trees apart and getting them down there. It's going to be a mess. We have so many. And the other thing is, the guy who owned this property before we did not, he just let it grow wild. So all this stuff is just growing wild, and a lot of that causes shade areas where the ground can't really firm up, It's just always kind of mushy.
Right.
And as the leaves fall, it turns into like a compost pit where it's not solid earth. And, of course, that makes it more susceptible to fall. And we've been getting solid rain out there since yesterday afternoon at yesterday at 12. It started raining pretty hard, It was pouring on the way in yesterday. By the way, phones are open, 407-916-1041. Alan Harris back at work. I'm watching him right now, our buddy from Seminole County. And And, some of these people we can start calling here in a little bit, get updates on what's going on. But we would love to hear from you and what you know and where you are and how the rain is and how the wind is where you are. We would love to hear that as well. Again, that's 407-916-1041. Daytona is getting hammered, by the way. 90-plus mile-an-hour winds, so you guys stay safe out there. I haven't heard of any more EAS reports, Jack, when it comes to tornadoes or tornadic activity.
Right now, the system is quiet here.
Yeah. That's good news. Winds are wicked in Lockhart right now. Dr. Phillips, about 1.5 miles from Universal, experiencing the strongest winds right now. Said, my husband, Joby, just passed out, and I'm bored of this crap. But she says that it's so funny. Then she goes, but I do have a suggestion for the dog pee lady, which is kind of funny. It's funny when it's almost like a live social media.
Like a swap and shop. He's like, hey, I got this. I've got 3 cans of tomatoes. What can I make?
Let me ask you, man, when this is all said and done, do you have a good enough relationship with your neighbors where you will help out if their yard or whatever got hit more than you? Do you have that?
Oh, I'll always willing to offer help, and even the person with the Trump flag next door.
Oh yeah, good for you. Yes. You're a big man, Jack.
They're good people.
Good for you. They are good people. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't. Again, I haven't even met my neighbors yet because there's a lot of property between each of us.
Well, that's because you have too much money and you buy houses on too much land.
I buy houses so I can be alone.
Is 40 acres?
No, stop. 4.5. But look, I'm gonna go. I'll go over 4.64 if we're being honest.
Okay, there you go.
But I'll go over and find. Look, the thing is too, there are some. As we were looking at places where we are, there are, a lot of the areas up there, people have been living there for a long time. They moved down here to retire.
Yeah.
So a lot of the constituency in that area is a little bit older, so they may need some help, and we'll provide it as much as we can. I think I'll be working in my own yard enough, though.
Texters say they still have power by the Sanford Airport. It was windy as hell earlier. That's Matt in Sanford.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
You guys out there on the little Econ, give us a holler, man. I'd like to see how that thing is, how the tributaries and all the area out there by UCF and Lake Pickett. We get a call from that area out there. All you guys in the Windermere side, give us a call. Lockhart up here just checked in with really bad winds. My wife just said in the Lake County area, we're experiencing the heaviest winds yet. And that's exactly on point from what the weather guy said, that it would be the worst between like maybe 2 and 5 this morning out there as it leaves.
Indeed.
What do you think the drink of choice was for people? Do you think it's mostly beer because it's just easy and there's no mixers or anything like that?
Beer is easy.
Neutrals or White Claws.
But I think neutral is like the. I can't even like neutrals.
Hey, tell me this. We got to step off the hurricane stuff for a second. What makes things like that cycle? Do you understand that? Like, White Claw was the game in seltzer. I mean, it was everywhere. I remember when Tom and Dan first hit. They were White Claw crazies. White Claw everything. White Claw was a big sponsor, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, oh, here's a new one. Then you have your High Noons. Then you have and now Neutral is the same thing. Here's my problem with all that. It's the same product. It's a flavored seltzer with alcohol. So basically it's vodka water. It's like a vodka soda with flavor. And they're all almost exactly the same. What makes one sell more? Is it all just the marketing?
It always is that. Yeah, and White Claw just kind of, they were like the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
And so when they took off, all the big companies, it's like, we need a product like that.
Right.
And then
was White Claw associated with another company? Is that a Seagram's product? Because don't they always
may be now. I thought it was independent at first.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that really, and you're right. Yeah. That's what happens. Somebody has a great idea.
Someone said, "We like to buy your company."
Exactly. Then you
with our distribution and your product, we'll all be rich.
Then the next thing you know, you have InBev making one. You have these giant. No way you can compete. Their distribution is ridiculous.
And you've made it when the store brands are doing their knockoff. There is a Kirkland one.
Is there really?
I made the mistake of trying it.
Oh,
skip that.
Yeah.
Truly is good.
Truly,
the neutrals are good.
All right, Truly hit before Neutral, but I will tell you to this day the best one I've tasted, and I mean the neutrals aren't bad. I think the High Noon ones are the best. I mean the High Noon pineapple and the High Noon watermelon are. I mean, that's a damn good product.
I have not had a High Noon
Yeah,
yet.
those are good.
But I see. I can tell you one thing. Let me do a check right here.
Okay. All right, he's checking. Jack is checking.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
the
is
trash
a
can.
popular one. I have a High Noon vodka seltzer black cherry.
Very, very nice. I know who that one is.
Red Bull, High Noon.
Okay, a lot of Red Bulls.
Bud Light, Coors Light.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, not drinking much beer lately, man.
Coors Light.
Yeah. I don't mind the seltzers. You know, that funny thing was that, also, I'll tell you something else that happened with the seltzers is kind of weird, right? At first, it was like, oh, who's drinking that gay drink? Everybody's like, oh, you're gay. You're drinking a seltzer. What are you, gay? Yeah. And then now look who's buying those things. All the dudes who were yelling that you were gay for drinking it are all drinking neutrals and seltzers now.
Yeah, it's somehow now socially acceptable without the stigma.
Isn't that funny how it goes through all these cycles?
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of what wine coolers were.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, back
in the day.
A guy couldn't drink a wine cooler.
That's right.
Nope.
You had to pour that in a Solo cup.
Yeah.
you were getting caught dead with a Bartles and James in your hand. But that, you know what the funny thing is, Jack? That was like the first iteration of this, right? That was the first iteration. The wine cooler idea, which was a wine-based kind of drink like this back in the day. But those things, it did the same thing. Bartles and James set the tone, and then everybody came in with their wine cooler products. That thing did its cycle, and it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think the seltzers are going anywhere, though. They're super popular.
Absolutely.
And now, people using them for like beginner parts. Like they'll get the one of the watermelons, they'll pour it in there, they'll add a few things to it, juice it with another half shot. Next thing you know, you have a cocktail with a little fizz. All right, 407-916-1041. Let's get to Rick over in Northport. Rick, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, buddy. Where is Northport?
So it's like Port Charlotte. It's about an hour south of Sarasota.
Oh, that's West Coast. Man, what are you doing over there?
So you guys might remember me. I'm not trying to plug anything, but I used to do Entering a Black Hole. I did the chili cook-off with you guys, the spicy, the hot sauce chili cook-off with you guys. Bradshaw's been on the show before. I've done a handful of things. But, so I haven't been active much lately. But I ended up over here just through this life.
Yeah.
And this is like the worst place to be. It's coming right for you. Run for high ground now. And I just, for some reason, I was like, by the time I came here, I was like, I had nowhere to go. I mean, where am I going to run? I can't really run from this place. I'm from Orlando, so, I want to spend 16 hours for a 3-hour drive and still get messed up. So we hunkered down, and it looks like most of it's past us by now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about 5 miles from the coast, and there's no flooding. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's coming now. I don't know, but I sent Jack Bradshaw. I sent you something on your Facebook messenger. There's actually a deer in the tree next to my house. I sent it to you, a picture of it.
Oh wow!
And we rescued him. He's okay.
Oh,
he
good,
ran off.
Good work.
But literally a deer in a tree.
That's crazy. By the way, I just give you a heads up. Yeah, you were right. You guys are basically out of the line of fire now. I'm watching the rotating map of the water vapor and storm map, and it looks like you guys have obviously seen the worst of it. And to be honest with you, kind of got spared a little bit. Most of the storms are cleared out. By the time it gets sunlight down there, you should be okay, man. You actually may see some blue sky.
I was worried because I'm like, why is it there's no water here? Because sometimes, like on a normal day in the summer, when it rains over here, it'll flood the street a little bit, but there's no water here. I'm like, is that good or bad? I don't know. If it's
exactly
coming.
right. All right. Well, buddy, we appreciate your call, man. Stay safe out there, and thanks for calling, and thanks for listening all these years. We appreciate that very much. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. Alan Harris, who is the emergency manager for Seminole County, will be joining us here in a second. Until then, let me grab this call here from Lot. Lot, how you doing over there in South Orlando, boss?
Hey, so I've got the most important question for Jack. Yingling, domestic or import? He's wearing the shirt right now. I want an answer.
Here's funny. I know it's America's oldest beer, and it's out of Pennsylvania, but
I know, but he has to answer it.
For the longest time, I thought it was a Chinese beer.
No, but it's not.
I know.
It's the oldest beer in the Americas.
Oh, you know what that sounds like? What I just said, Lot.
Hey, what's one of the older ones? Rolling Rock is also up there in a very old beer as well, man.
Yeah.
No, Yingling
Yingling is the oldest. Yeah. And I like a Yingling.
But every bar bills it as an import.
That's funny.
That's funny. Well, they imported it from Pennsylvania, and it gets weird up there. So
make him answer it. Make him answer it. Come
okay,
on.
thanks, man.
Okay, let me guess. Domestic.
Yeah, it's domestic.
How's that?
I like that. You get the feeling that guy does that a lot. You get the feeling the guy does the Yingling thing a lot.
Here we go. Let's get someone who knows something.
What is
on
Sealing
here.
doing back there?
He is not. He's a little amped up and he can't sleep.
Well, tell him to come on in here and hang out.
I will.
What are you doing, dude? Come in here.
I think he's trying to get calm.
Yeah.
We have our special guest on.
All right, 407-916-1041. He's been with us a number of times through this, and every time there's something that hits the fan out there in Seminole County, we give him a call. You guys, good and loud for Alan Harris.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just saw you on TV, big dog. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Tired, but good. But hey, I have my coffee here.
Yes.
So
same here. Cheers to you. Here, real quick. Let me get this.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Very good, Mr. Harris. I'm glad you're good.
I don't have anything special in there. I know we talked about that before, but it's just coffee. It's just coffee.
Jim cannot say the same.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
That's just straight Bailey's, dude. I'm just telling you straight up.
Perfect.
Hey, so man, listen, we're getting some reports. I just got on the air at 2 o'clock. And reports of, like, right now, my wife was just saying it is absolutely blowing like crazy up in North Lake County. But we know that Daytona, Ormond Beach, also getting some really hairy winds right now. And people are actually kind of wondering if they were going to see any surge in that area. And I was like, well, yep, I saw 3 to 6 feet. It was kind of expected. Have you heard anything, Alan?
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. That once this thing gets offshore and pushes the water towards the St. Johns River, even up into Jacksonville, so you're going to get some storm surge there. But also, there's some modeling that shows the water at the St. Johns River is actually going to go south, and of course, that bottlenecks the water that's trying to come up from Seminole County. So there's potential for some pretty severe flooding all up and down the river. We're already forecasted to be in major flood now along the St. Johns River. The nice thing, if you will, is it's not a localized, so it's not instant.
Right.
So we're looking at probably 4 or 5 days until that actually starts to get up to that level.
Sure.
And then a few days, unfortunately, for it to peak at that level. So it's going to be a little while.
So let me ask, though, one of the concerns from even a few people here that work at the station, but G Creek, is it G Creek?
Yeah.
G Creek is prone to do this, and we know that Winter Springs is having some issues in getting that water moved around. What's the latest from G Creek, Econ, those areas out there? So we actually just had somebody check in from out there by Lake Pickett. So any updates in those areas would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, an incredible amount of rain over the evening. At Little Wekiva, we are in major flood, way over what was forecasted. So it's continuing to climb. G Creek, Howell Creek, all at very high levels as well. Little Econ, also very, very high level. A lot of rain over the evening today. A lot of wind, like you were talking about. And unfortunately, so a lot of trees down because the root structures are all saturated. So we've had quite a few trees into homes and done a couple rescues for some flooded homes as well as some trees in homes. Thankfully, only one so far patient has had to go to the hospital related to a tree into a home, and that patient will likely be okay. They were walking around, but obviously scared and a bad evening for them. Clearly.
Yeah. Alan, so when you're there in the management center, as you are like right now, as you're directing and stuff, how do you get reports of what's happening out there? Are there officers, or do you guys have field agents that go out and kind of get an assessment of what's happening so that when people need information, they can go to a central location and find that?
Yeah, so we're actually a combined area. So one of my divisions actually that I oversee is 911. So we have the Emergency Operations Center here. There's a hallway, and then the Sheriff's Office 911 Center and the Fire Department 911 Center sit directly across the hallway. So it's literally walking out this door that's right around the corner from me, and I'm in the Sheriff's Office 911 Center. So we're getting real-time computer-aided dispatch information here in the EOC regularly. I also have, of course, multiple deputies and multiple fire chiefs in here as well.
Yeah. So you're seeing, is there a heavy amount of 911 calls, and what do they sound like? I mean, I'm not asking you to play them, but I mean,
no.
Just give me an overview of what you're hearing out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously concerns. A tree going into a house is always a very scary thing,
Oof,
and they're calling for help. And right now, thankfully, we were expecting some even higher wind gusts, and we have not experienced that so far. So we have been able to respond. The worst, of course, is when you get to a point where you can't respond anymore, and that's really scary. We did have that in Hurricane Charlie. A home was on fire, and we asked the person if there was someone next door. They said, "Yeah, the neighbor stayed. Run next door. Your house is gone." And they had to watch from their house. They had to watch from their neighbor's house. Their house burned down. Because you can't fight a fire in the middle of a hurricane. So
You cannot, and the irony of that is almost too much, right?
right,
Yeah, you have
yeah, it's raining outside and your house is burning.
And then unfortunately, you have a lot of wind, and wind is
Right.
not, and people, that's not good for fire. That's oxygen for it, so it makes it burn worse. Wow.
Right.
Alan Harris with us, emergency manager, Seminole County. Do you talk to other emergency managers in other counties to get updates on what's going on there? Or do you pretty much just focus on Seminole?
No, actually, we have an incredible internship program here in Seminole County. So it's pretty interesting. So a lot of my past students that have come through our program here are all over the state of Florida. So one of my most previous interns is just got hired in Lee County, Fort Myers area about 6 months ago. That poor boy, he has had Debbie, he's had Helene, and now he's had this. He had 7 tornadoes last night.
Yeah,
7 tornadoes. So just catastrophic. A lot of homes damaged and destroyed down there. And then Helene, an incredible storm surge that they had to experience. So I've been talking to not only the local ones. We always talk to the local ones, the neighbors, but even people a little farther away.
Yeah. Alan Harris with us, Seminole County emergency manager. Jack?
Alan, we're watching Category 1 as it moves into Brevard. When do you, with your area of responsibility being the great Seminole County, when do you breathe easier? When is it that you feel that it's like, okay, we're good?
Is that the day before retirement?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And that is in 5 years, 4 months, 3 days, and a couple hours. So I will feel a lot more comfortable when this thing is squarely off of the state of Florida. Hopefully, it looks like it's moving quite a bit faster than what we had anticipated, which is awesome. So maybe by early afternoon, and then we'll be able to. The first thing we're going to do is we need to get the push crews out there. So they need to push all those trees and things out of the roadways, the major arteries, so that we can get folks. We want to make sure that all of our roads are clear to hospitals and emergency departments and those critical places, and then making sure that all of our traffic signals are lit up with generators and things like that. So that's our first thing to do in the morning, and I'll feel a lot more comfortable once those things are done.
Alan, I have to ask, with Ian, we saw that catastrophic flooding out there in the river basin and the Osteen, Lake Harney, Lake Harney Heights, those areas out there, Lake Jessup, they all flooded. Those people, were kayaking to their homes. And I got to tell you, there was flooding also on the other side of 46 because the little lake was in our neighborhood. It flooded and ran up into people's yards and stuff. Did you find it easier to convince people to evacuate this time based on the information they had with Ian just a few years ago? Did people seem to heed that message a little more this year?
Yeah, a lot of people that are in those areas did evacuate. We had a few that didn't, and we have gone and picked them up tonight. So but for the most part, people that needed to evacuate did listen to the warning. Clearly, from the sandbags, there was a lot of preparation for this one, which is fantastic. We had 290 something thousand sandbags that were taken from our sites for this particular event. So people were there, they were interested, they wanted to protect their home, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's just watching the Fox 35 broadcast right now, and it's saying that Sanford is experiencing gusts in the 80-mile-an-hour range right now. And the wind's blowing really bad. And actually, up until 8 o'clock this morning, the wind in Sanford in that area as it kind of moves out, Alan, the way it's weird, it's Daytona, Palm Coast, Titusville, Orlando, anything up in that area, that quadrant is going to experience high winds and rain for a little bit as this thing moves off. It's just the way it's located. That place is just going to get slapped for a while, man. It's crazy, and it's been consistently that busy since I was up at 2, so for the last hour and a half minimum, and I'm sure it's been like that since midnight. that area up there in Seminole County has taken the brunt.
Yeah, we have had quite a few strong squall lines. I live a little bit to the south, closer to the downtown area of Orlando, and I've been looking at my Ring camera, and thankfully, and I'm going to knock on some wood and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll help.
The trees are not moving a lot there, so but up here, they are moving.
Yeah, they're
so
moving,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah, it's just where those squall lines line up, and you never know where those are going to line up. This afternoon, more tornadoes than we've experienced in a hurricane in decades.
Yeah.
12 confirmed tornadoes in this area.
Yeah.
That's amazing, and it's just where the squall lines lit up.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tom Sorrells was saying to us yesterday. And man, they experienced that down in that Port St. Louis area. I guess earlier this morning and late last night, they had like 30 or 40 of those things on the ground. Some of them resulting in fatalities, unfortunately. And, you know, I don't know about you, Alan, but it's just kind of weird having these things move through overnight, so that when the cloak of darkness does rise, you know, the destruction is revealed almost like a movie scene. It's so bizarre how it's worked the last cycle of this hurricane season. It's just been so unique.
You are absolutely. We were just talking about that yesterday, that none of these go through, at least in Seminole County, they don't go through during the day. All of them have been almost at night. I don't remember the last one that was during the day. So probably Francis, that was way back.
20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Right, exactly.
Damn.
Yes.
Hey, before we get you out of here, buddy, what are your responsibilities the rest of the day? How many media hits do you do, or are we one of your only, and you're pretty much just kind of doing your job internally?
Yeah, so our focus here, of course, and I'm always happy to talk to you all and any member of the media, because, of course, that's also me talking to the residents, and we want to provide good information to them about what's going on in their community. And so, but primarily our job today is going to be shelter transition, being able to get those people back into their home. Hopefully we'll be able to do that mid-afternoon to late evening, if we can pushing the roads, as I mentioned. So making sure that's safe before we start to get folks back to their home. I know people want to go check on their businesses as well. Doing some damage assessment, and we'll be doing damage assessment for a couple of days. We know of some critical infrastructure damage already, so going out and assessing those. So once the sun comes up, we'll be able to see that a little bit more.
You got it, buddy. Well,
Alan, when people wake up, it's natural. I want to go out and see. I want to go see what the deal is. What's the advice? What do you want people to kind of to think about before they decide to head out? Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So
or
maybe,
this morning.
Yeah. So maybe this morning, why don't we just look around in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
If we know someone down the street that's a senior, and maybe let's help them. You know, the debris may be out there, and they can't pick up the debris because, you know, they're in a wheelchair or whatever. Let's help each other for today. And then if you want to go look at damage and stuff, let's make it sure it's safe out there further from the neighborhood. But today, let's help our neighbors.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, buddy. Alan, as always, we appreciate that. Seminole County Emergency Director Alan Harris.
Yeah.
As always, be careful, stay safe, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Man.
Thanks, buddy.
407-916-1041. Text us 77031. C-Lane, have you got any information on your house? How the baby doing? How mama's doing? How's everybody doing, buddy?
I haven't heard anything from anybody inside my house. I just have the Ring camera, and I look, I go, all right, I got to reconnect, and I see that everything's still on. Oh, it's offline.
Oh, not good, buddy.
Oh, that just happened.
You know what?
Real-time C-Lane drama.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's when Alan mentioned it, and it's something I started doing like a couple storms ago. What a surprise feature for people, like the unexpected feature for Ring cameras when you are away from your house in a time like this during hurricane coverage. It's how we know we still have internet and power, which C-Lane lost one of the two.
Literally checked it while you guys were talking to Alan.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just see what's up. I look at it. I hit the little speaker icon, and I go, what does it sound like outside my house? And now it says both things. There was an issue starting your camera. Check the connection.
All right.
Or try to click reconnect. That's not happening.
Yeah.
They're
Hey,
done.
is your wife a through-the-night sleeper? My wife does not. At any given point in the evening, I can roll over, and my wife's on her cell phone. She has a busy mind. Does your wife deal with that?
My wife, usually very heavy sleeper. During the pregnancy, that changed a little bit, and right after, it changed a little bit. And then at some point, we had this like smart. It's called the SNOO, SNOO. Very expensive, super bougie. We bought it used.
I like that.
We bought a used one, but it's a smart bassinet, and it like rocked the baby depending on how much noise the baby made. Right, so if the baby starts fussing, it would rock a little harder. But my snoring would like resonate with the SNOO and rock the baby as hard as possible. And that's how I got a CPAP machine.
Wow. Yeah. And that's how and why.
I'm not going to tell you how or why, but I can attest to C-Lane snoring.
Oh, yeah?
You guys might hear. You guys might walk by my booth, after you're done with your show, and you go, look at little C-Lane in there. He's fast asleep. It's going to be a lot louder than that.
We were in a hotel room on the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do after this.
Oh, yeah. Jack and I did share a hotel room once.
Yeah.
Jack and I have never. Did we share rooms in when we traveled for the XFL?
No, they actually gave us
all separate rooms.
All separate rooms. Yeah, they spent too much money on us.
Yeah, they really did.
Celine and I went
What happened to the XFL?
We ran them out of business. Are you crazy? They flew us all over the country. Right? We could not believe what they were doing for us.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't even get treated like this by our own company.
Yeah, this was the first version in 2001.
Right,
exactly.
No, I remember hearing stuff about you guys going on the road with XFL. Is that how you guys became such great friends?
Oh, we're good friends?
Good friends.
Oh, yeah. Are we friends?
That's kind of an exaggeration there. But,
all right. I seem to have overstepped. My bad.
We work together.
No, Jack and I actually, we had a really good time up there on the road. We have a blast.
fun.
Jack
That
had
was
to show
fun.
me New York City. I'd really never been up there with any, and watching Jack kind of know his way around New York City was very cool.
Such a fun time. I act like I know my way around New York City because of the Google Maps app. And because of the way that it tells you exactly what subway to get on, where and when, and I blow my friends away. They thought I lived there.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not. My wife has been up there a number of times, and she goes up there for, we have a friend that lives near there, and they wind up in the city doing cool stuff while I stay home. And when we went up there recently for a little vacation, we were kind of cruising around like we lived there. It was really cool. She knows that subway system quite well. It was great.
My wife lived there for about 5 or 6 years before we got together. And so she knew it very well.
That's cool.
She knew that if I was going in the wrong subway station, based on my knowledge of the app and all this, me acting like a badass,
right?
That you're like, dude, you're going in the wrong one. You're screwing this up. This is bad.
It's so funny. I hear that. Like I hear people, and I know people in my life like that. And then to hear that Ross had to use Waze to get home from the show until his very last day.
That's insane.
Yeah, he told me. I'm joking, but for the first year, because he never came to this side of town, for the first year, you can ask Jack, dude was using like mapping, Waze to get home because he wasn't really sure what exits to take or what was the best thing. It was kind of funny.
Well, I thought about old Sean the first time he came back here because I was like, the roads were completely different. They changed so much during the COVID time,
right?
That I was like, oh, it's kind of an expressway now, but it's not.
Yeah.
But you're getting off at the wrong place. I don't know. It was different, but I have always been a fan of navigation and maps. I get made fun of for it's because it's well deserved. But I always like to know where I'm going.
Yeah, sure thing. My dad was a trucker, so I talk about how he was able to drive an 18-wheeler and fold and unfold a map in real time with one hand. While driving an 18-wheeler. I grew up with maps everywhere around my house.
Navigation, in-car navigation is a game changer. It is definitely a blessing and has helped so many people all over the world, but it is one of those things that helps make us dumber as a society.
Yeah.
Just like our smartphone.
autocorrect.
Yeah. Exactly. And our smartphones in general, because we don't have to remember, we're not forced to think about it. We have someone to give us the information. We don't save it. We just use it in the moment and then, and get rid of it.
Stuff I rely on way too heavily. The autocorrect more so than the map thing.
Yeah.
But even I screw up. Now that the new express lanes are in. When we did the full show, the full station thing at Universal, I did the ultimate F up, and I overshot Universal.
Oh, buddy.
And then I had to get on 528.
Buddy.
All the way to to 528.
Get off at iDrive.
Yeah, I know
Get back on
exactly.
528.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a Wasson move, man.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we're so used to talking on our phones while we're driving. I just did this very thing talking to my daughter coming here for this broadcast. I drove right past the 414 exit, and I said, you just made me miss my exit. Thank God the turnaround wasn't bad, but
I did it twice on the way to Sunset Walk on Saturday.
did you really? Hey,
Twice?
Yeah.
I missed.
This is why we're not friends.
Yeah.
Guys, I didn't know you weren't friends. I feel really bad about this.
Yeah,
whole
you're
thing.
fine. No, we're buddies.
Are we friends? This is cool.
Hey, by the way, I just want to shout out real quick. I know Jack responded to this young lady via texting service, but Diana in Apopka, and this is like real time stuff, right? She goes, "Hell's a popping in Apopka right now. Holy crap!" Then she texts again and said she's scared. You don't need to be scared, Diana. You're fine. Just keep your radio turned up. We'll keep you there.
Oh,
Get into
she's the one who won't. She did call. She's the one who won't sleep upstairs.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, just let your family perish up there. Stay in the bottom floor. You're fine. I'm not. Don't do that.
All right, better news. One of my cameras is back.
Oh,
on.
good.
All right.
I got to tell you, it's surprising. We have a lot of people that maintain power through this.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, even she said in Apopka, it's scary as hell, hairy as hell, but she still has power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Orange County right now, 46,000 people offline.
Yeah. Really?
Of 658,000 that are tracked on poweroutage.us, which I trust like it's the Bible.
Oh, really?
I think that one, that's the one that's showing us the real stuff.
Yeah, I think I have to tell you, again, I've lived in a number of houses here recently, and I've had different. I've had different power companies, but I found.
Listen, I've looked up every one of your house sales. I know what you sold them for. We know. I taught my wife how to do it, and she's like, "Did you see what Jimmy sold the house for?"
Well, you don't know how much I made or not made. That's really the story. It has nothing to do with like how much
he
you
knows
sold
what
for.
you bought it for.
If you look historically,
Yeah.
Well, you don't know how much I put into it. God, we put a lot of money in these things. God Almighty. It's a good savings account, though. Good way to do it. But anyway,
no need to lose your voice over it, Jim.
I'm fine. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031.
And for Diana, who's scared right now in Apopka, know this, that the worst of the storm is already past us, right? It's moving into Brevard now, and our friends over in Brevard County and South Volusia. But
in the 3 hours we're broadcasting, it's going to move like 60 miles.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing how fast it's actually gone.
It's so nice. Right now on the stream, Jack has up the radar that I have been using as my kind of general where's the storm. Even off the air, I've just looked on YouTube and gone, let me look at this NBC News Now radar and go, where's the storm? And to think that it's now over Melbourne and it's just about to be off to the right there. And we're about to be, I know that people are still going through it. I know we've had people reach out from Jacksonville saying that they're having power outages. It looks like there's some bands going up into Savannah, which I feel like Georgia is the forgotten part of the storm because it seemed like just a Florida storm. But the fact that it's so far to the right of the state, looking at that right now, is just kind of nice.
It is nice, but boy, you're right though. It's spinning off some really nasty stuff to hit. It's hitting Savannah north of that. That's going to go all the way up to North Carolina and the Hatteras area, man. That's bad news. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. Let's take this call, then we'll take a little break. Hey, Kenny, how you doing from Port Orange? How's things out there, buddy?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
We've been getting pounded, man, since about 7 o'clock, man.
Really?
It's been pretty bad. Yeah, I'm over in, you familiar with Spruce Creek?
Yeah, buddy. Matter of fact, Port Orange is just below Daytona, correct?
Correct, yeah, between Daytona and New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah. It's pretty bad over there right now.
Oh, yeah, we're in Spruce Creek Road, down over on Spruce Creek. We've been getting pounded. About maybe 10 inches of rain, 12 inches of rain in the last probably 2 hours or so.
Yeah, I have a cop that's a listener and a nice guy, Deputy Scott, checking in saying that power is on at the shelter that he's operating, 100 plus guests, 25 employees, and they're getting hit hard. Checking in from Pine Hills, wind gust, rain, never lost power, heavy wind and rain in Windermere. And the APK is getting killed right now. So is Sanford. So, buddy, I got to tell you where you are. I'm looking at the map that C-Lane was just talking about, the NBC Now map. And, you're going to have a little bit longer to deal with this, boss. The way this thing is kind of mapping out, it's going to spin around there and kind of whack you guys for a few more hours. So just kind of stay put. All right, buddy?
we lost power at 12 o'clock over here where I'm at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate that update.
Yeah,
for
stay
sure.
safe, man.
Yeah. All right, 407-916-1041. Yeah, you want to wait until the top of the hour to take the break? You want to go now?
Yep.
Does it matter?
Yeah, we can do now.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
Back in a sec with more of the Jim Colbert Show.
Night, boys.
Storm coverage on Real Radio is brought to you by New South Window Solutions, Florida's only factory direct window company. Their windows are made in Florida for Florida homes by Florida workers, and they're guaranteed for life. Visit newsouthwindow.com for more information.
Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Camping World Stadium March 1st. Brought to you by Big 80 Tires. You have to see it live, so don't miss it. Lock in your seats today at monsterjam.com.
Do you have information about a violent crime? Help solve crimes with your anonymous tips at crimeline.org. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your tips make a difference. Say it here. It's anonymous at crimeline.org. Paid by CSTF.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. In Office Orlando.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today at 407-213-0000. That's 407-213-0000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Steve Kramer here with the divorce tip. Inheritance isn't a marital asset unless you handle the money wrong or your divorce wrong. Then you can lose it to your ex. Call Trenley and Kramer, TK Law. We do divorce. OneFirmForLife.com.
You text us at 77031 and we say it on the air. Sometimes. We might even give you credit. Standard data and message rates apply. Real Mobile is powered by Orange Buick GMC and OrangeBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade. For more information about contests on this station, go to realradio.fm/rules.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Over 20 million fans have made Trans-Siberian Orchestra their holiday tradition. Bring the whole family and make it part of yours. The Lost Christmas Eve live in concert. Saturday, December 14th. 2 shows, Kia Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. The return of Trans-Siberian Orchestras. The Lost Christmas Eve.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A Petrified Forest presents Societies in Shadow. Explore 3 new terrifying trails at one low price. Get tickets at apetrifiedforest.com. Buy yours before they sell out. That's apetrifiedforest.com. Central Florida's premier scare trails.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main Office Orlando.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make a plan and know your zone. In the case of an evacuation, have a plan to go to a hurricane shelter, hotel, or stay with a family or friends. If you're ordered to evacuate, you need to leave. You can rebuild your home, but you cannot rebuild your life. This hurricane season, know your zone. Know your home. Learn more at floridadisaster.org. This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
It's always a good time for donuts, so indulge in Shipley Donuts. Fresh-made donuts in delicious flavors from classic glaze to the Oreo cookie top treats, crafted with quality ingredients. Catering and online ordering is available. Visit Shipley Donuts, now open in Orlando on South Cimarron Boulevard.
Real Radio is on X at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Have you been in an accident? Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because you deserve better. Contact them at whenyounneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. You're listening to The Jim Colbert Show, also available to watch at The Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
That's right. Get in there. Jim Colbert Show. Go to YouTube. Type in The Jim Colbert Show. It'll take you right to us. You can see us do our thing. Celine joining us. He'll be back here in 1 second. I am Jim. Jack is here as well.
Yeah.
Deb taking some rest. She took a little bit of a fall earlier, so find out how she's doing a little bit later. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. We've had somebody on hold here for a second. I know we have some talkbacks to get to, but I'm interested to hear about what's happening in your neck of the woods, Jack. Brandon from Winter Springs. Buddy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, buddy. How's things over there in the WP, the WS, the Winter Springs?
It's actually a little bit worse, than it has been. Like, I'd say this is probably the worst I've seen. Like, the power's actually, flickering this time. Yeah, I was actually extremely surprised that I didn't lose power. With all the trees and stuff. Like absolutely. Surprised that I had power the whole time.
So, one of the big questions about the Winter Springs area, and for you people who live in Orlando listening to us, the Winter Springs area in Seminole County, where Alan Harris was talking about, that G Creek we were just talking about.
It's the gem of Seminole County.
It is, right? The environmentally conscious Seminole County.
Yeah.
Are you near that creek that is prone to flooding, G Creek or Howell Creek? Are you near any of those bodies of water?
I'm not sure. So across the street from me, they're during Ian, my neighbors across the street flooded, and there is a creek back there, and I don't know if that's the G Creek or not, but
probably.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for them, they can they flooded pretty bad, but across the street where I'm at, I'm quite a bit higher, so. Yeah, and I actually moved here 2 years ago because I got flooded out from Ian. I was in the Rouse, University Rouse area.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
They got hit as well during Ian.
They got killed and nobody talked about it. Man, it was kind of weird how it got ignored. That one apartment complex got a lot of heat, but a lot of people got dislodged out there.
Yeah, actually, that's where I was. Where I came from. Arden Villas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I moved from Arden Villas over to, Tuscaloosa, Winter Springs.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I was like, well, if this house didn't flood during Ian, I'm probably pretty good. But then I see this storm coming through now with all the wind, all the trees, and I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to get flooded now. A tree's going to fall through my house now.
Yeah, buddy. Well, listen, stay safe out there. We're getting some stuff I need to get to here, buddy. I appreciate your call, Brandon. Be good, buddy. We're getting information out there. Floodwater is rising fast in Daytona. So again, if you're in that area, I don't really know what to tell you. The winds are really bad. You can't really go anywhere. You got to protect yourself as much as possible. Mount Dora checking in. Tavares lost their power at 11:30. It's still out. Heavy winds, heavy rain. Now, I don't know where this gentleman lives, but he said we dropped our pool 10 inches at noon. It's 1 inch away from the top already again. So in just, 14, 10 hours?
Yeah.
So in 10 hours, 10 inches of rain, 9 inches of rain?
Wait. From noon to now?
Yeah.
We're going to call that 16 hours.
16 hours? Yeah. I was trying to do the math fast, Jack. I'm bad at it.
It's tough. The 12,
Still,
it gets confusing.
That's still a lot of water in a short period of time. So not even one day, he's got 9 inches of rain. And here's the thing. If his pool has a cover on it, that's still not even, if he has a screen and porch, that's still not even a good indication of how accurate it may be.
All right, I'm looking at the outage map for Duke, only because that's my power company and that's what I have access
Same
to.
here.
Yeah, it's about 200,000 people in our Central Florida area.
Okay, that's not bad, actually.
So, no, it's pockets of 35,000 here and there, and
Yeah,
around.
See, Lane, did you still have power at the house? Were you? Is it still on?
I have it, and right now it looks like I'm getting hail.
Hail?
There looks like piles of ice out front of my Ring doorbell.
That would have been the very first time we've heard about hail. No one's even texted in or said anything. Is there hail out there?
So much so that I Googled Hurricane Milton hail just to see if that was a thing. Am I seeing things wrong? Is it something I don't get? And then AP News says more than 12 million people in the state face threat of tornadoes along with hail and wind.
I'll be damned, dude.
Is that the first I've heard of hail?
I've not heard of hail during a hurricane, but there is a cold front, and I'm such an ignorant idiot when it comes to the weather stuff. I try to listen and pay attention as much as possible, but some of it doesn't make any sense. But I know that Tom said the cold front behind this thing was kind of unique, and the rains would actually weigh that down and keep the winds closer to or whatever, but he never mentioned hail at all. Nobody has.
I mean, I have one that sounds very windy.
There you go.
It sounds like maybe.
Yeah. Shauna in New Smyrna Beach says it's raining, nothing scary. We live next to a canal and the water's at the top. We won't flood. There's a tree down on the power line, so no power. And, of course, 10 inches of rain in Lake Mary, somebody has just reported as well.
Wow.
Mount Dora is still getting pounded, but they have power. Part of Sorrento and Mount Plymouth, the power's out. And again, that's that northern part of Orange County going into Lake County.
Had a report from Castleberry and also Lake Mary that they're getting wind from a different direction, which is normal for as the storm moves through.
Sure.
And the way it rotates, now the direction changes.
Yeah, I'm a little scared, guys, because I texted my wife earlier. We were texting when she told me those trees were falling. And I've tried to contact her a couple times now, and I have gotten no response.
See, that gets nerve-wracking, right?
That's driving me. I'm going to be honest, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, and she could be totally fine, just whether it lost cell service or
yeah. She, I don't know.
That's why you need a Ring doorbell. If you have power
and internet. Listen, you look at it, it means that the power is powering your doorbell, and in my case, my front camera that has the motion light. And then the internet is good enough that it is sending it back to me.
But if you don't have power, the internet is still possible, like through cellular. But we do have a generator, and I told them if this goes bad, fire the generator up, plug the modem into it, so that we can still get. But they have to have internet service.
Right.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, I think
your son's there, right? Have you reached out to him or?
Yeah, I mean, he's on. Yeah.
Well, if he has internet, he's probably gaming right now.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah. Trust me.
I know if I did have a generator, my wife is not going upstairs to plug my router into it.
Oh yeah. We got a different situation. We don't have the best, so we can just drag our stuff around. We're not hardwired or anything.
Yes.
You have anything with Jack has?
What?
That's what I was just. I have the T-Mobile hotspot.
That's what I have.
Yeah. So all you have to do is plug it in. So if you have power,
that's it.
as long as the T-Mobile system
That's
is
exactly
up,
the case. That's what we have.
You can connect.
Yeah, that's what I told us. So we set the generator out front.
Yeah.
We have the front porch is the ceilings are very high, so we didn't think we'd have any issues with the exhaust getting trapped under there. And I said, just point the exhaust out so the generator doesn't have to be in the pouring ass rain. We do have a small cover for it. We just didn't want that thing getting blown into the house. And I said, worst case scenario, just plug the modem and the router into this thing. And that way, as long as the T-Mobile system is up, you'll still have internet and be able to access information to find out what's going on. She said she's heard personally 4 trees fall. She says one is a big one. We don't know where or anything yet.
Yeah.
And I have a massive, and I say massive, if all 3 of us joined hands, I don't know that we could wrap ourselves around it. It is gigantic.
Wow.
And in the dead center of my front yard, right by the house.
Yeah.
The limbs hang over my property.
How do you have
over my
insurance?
house. Huh?
I said, how do you have insurance?
It's through a guy. It's through a guy named Al.
All right.
I just give
on
him
the
a couple.
texting service?
I just give him a couple grand, and he swears he'll come through for me.
Got it.
It's cheap as I could find, buddy.
We have talk
No
back if
judging.
you want them, Joe.
Yeah, sure. Give me a couple.
All right, here we go.
Why? Some coffee.
Jim.
Yeah.
Jack. Hey, man. Okay, Flexi just woke up from his nap. And
He's just third person.
I had to go outside.
He's
and take
third
some
person.
pictures
Third
and-
person
and
is nickname.
Get some video of this. I still got power. I'm in Winter Garden
Flexing
over
him.
here.
That's a flex.
I told the news junkie the other day we're on the hospital grid, and he told me I was insane. So I still got power, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm watching you guys on YouTube right
Thanks, you,
now.
buddy. I appreciate that.
Be
James.
safe.
And that's the thing.
Well, you're winning that battle, my friend.
Yeah, he
'cause,
is winning that battle.
I still cannot log into anything at Sean's house.
And by the way, I don't know where his phone comes from. Is it Elon Musk's personal phone? That thing sounds like a studio mic every
Yeah.
time he calls.
We've seen him at the past 2 events. We should have. It's like, let me see your phone.
My God, man.
How do you do this?
Got a Men in Black phone. You got any more?
I do. Let's go.
He's got just a dongle.
I have to ask, is Yingling a domestic or is it an import?
My God. Did you hear that call, Celine? Were you
I
in
did.
it?
It was right before. Yeah.
Yeah, you should not be that adamant about something like that. And he would not let go. I mean, he was yelling off the air as I was hanging up. He was yelling about it.
Some people love their jokes so much
Yeah.
that it's very important that it get out there.
I shared with that years ago. I thought Yingling was an import for the longest time. I wasn't aware bars were selling it as an import, but I just by the name, I'm like, oh, that's got to be a Chinese
I don't
beer.
even believe the guy that said that they were selling them as an import.
Yeah, I don't even. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people stupid enough to buy it. So if you're a bar, you're like, hey, man, this is from Korea. Yingling from China.
I did, though, last time I was in Philly, drink a schload of Rolling Rock because that flows like water over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. You know, I'll tell
Old
you.
Latrobe.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. I got a few seconds, right, Jack?
Yeah, plenty of time.
This is some
We got 50 of them.
This is non-hurricane stuff, all right? Okay. So years ago, a good friend of mine named Jimmy, his father ran the Bay Hill Golf Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Jimmy was still a great golfer. I love the game, of course. We've talked about this. And he invited me out to go play Bay Hill. Right. And it was right before the tournament was coming. So what happens is this. There's a men's game out there called the Shootout. And it's all these guys that are retired, all these big money dudes. And they play golf out there and they play these little gambling games. I got invited to come out and play one. And it's some very good company. A guy named Dow Finsterwald was out there as well. He's an older guy from the PGA Tour. I think he won the PGA Championship or the Masters or something. Arnold Palmer was out there.
Finsterwald, really? That's weird. It sounds like a newer name.
Dow Finsterwald, right? Yeah.
Finsterwald. I would have thought that the guy was like 24.
So the reason why this particular shootout was so cool is it was the last one they were going to play before they shut the golf course down because the tournament was coming in town the very next week.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the pro-ams start on like Monday, Tuesday, the media stuff's then. So at Friday, when that closes, nobody else plays the golf course until the pros come in and the pro-ams start. So it's a really special one to get out of play.
They need to get the people out there that have the really short lawnmowers.
Oh, yeah.
To get that really nice green.
Yeah. The ones they have to push. Get to play right behind Mr. Palmer, which was very cool, a very special moment in my life. He's the sweetest guy you ever met in your life. But the story is this, right? So after the round, we go into the grill room, right? And they have these giant tables in the grill room that sit anywhere from 10 to 12 people. So we get in there, and Jimmy walks me over. We're sitting here. We're starting to make our order. I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of them. I just know Jimmy, and that's it, right? And we're sitting there and we're talking amongst ourselves and kind of discussing, what we do and things like that. And actually, a number of these people actually listened to the Monsters at the time. And then Arnold Palmer comes walking in, and he has his, he's got a drink. He's got his lemonade and tea. The Arnold Palmer guy carries his own drink. Very cool. Baller move. Total
Was
flip.
this before or after it was named after him?
Oh, yeah. Way after, dude. This was probably, 10, 15 years ago.
I don't know. You've been playing golf a long time.
So we sitting at this table, and he comes and walks up, and one of the older gentlemen at the table turns and looks at him because all the seats were taken. And one of the older gentlemen at the table did not know this person, turns and looks at him and says, "Sorry, Arnie, no room at the inn." Arnold Palmer shuffles off and sits at a table by himself. And then I think his grandson comes over and joins him, right? This guy shooed Arnold Palmer away. As the conversation I'm shell shocked. But I know not to say anything because I don't know anybody. I don't know these are relationships.
You're not sure if you're supposed to defend Arnold Palmer at the time.
I don't know what to do.
Be embarrassed to be next to the person that shooed away Arnold Palmer.
I'm like, this guy must be down. Like he must, like something's happening here.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. It's his club. He will sit wherever the F he wants. It's his place. Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill. Turns out that guy that shoot him away was Joe Tito. Google that. Tiddo.
Oh, D's. I thought it was one of those
Tito.
things
Joe
where
Tito.
It was 4 a.m. and we were saying whatever we want.
No.
Who is Joe Tito?
Joe. I don't have it.
Okay, Joe is the owner of Rolling Rock Beer.
Gotcha.
Out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And guess who else is from Latrobe, Pennsylvania?
Arnold Palmer.
Guess who financed his career as a young golfer?
Joe Tito.
Joe Tito.
Yeah.
So to him, Arnold Palmer was just the snotty-nosed kid that he gave money to as he was rising up and coming up through the ranks.
Yeah.
You said
Or helped out.
Tiddo,
I think
right?
it's Tiddo. I'm not 100 on that.
Okay.
Joe Tito.
Oh, you can count on him being wrong.
It may be TT. I'm not 100%. I never spelled the guy's name. I don't send him Christmas cards.
I got recorrected to Joe Tid. Now I got some.
Just look up Rolling Rock. You'll see his name.
Some kid on Instagram with 19.9K followers called Tidbit Out of Hand.
Yeah, that's
and
definitely
it's
not
definitely
him.
not the guy that started
No.
Rolling Rock.
It's just kind of funny how that guy, Mr. Palmer, came through, and Joe Tito knew him as Palmer, the kid he helped while in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Very cool. Cool story there. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. Apopka getting hammered right now. People are saying, quote, really scary in Sanford right now. But buckle down. Like C-Lane said a second ago, this thing's moving very fast, and it should be out of there in no time. These will be the last squalls you see for this as it kind of rotates out. I think the eye is almost off the coast, right, C-Lane?
Yeah, and the last I looked, and Jack has the same thing up as that I look at. That I've found it more kind of centering just to pick one radar and make that be your radar.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
And that's the one that Jack's been having up all day.
Which is the NBC Now one.
I like it because they give you the information on the storm, then they show you the path, and they just keep going back and forth.
That's
and
right.
No commercials or
They
anything
update
else.
it when they get the updates, and then you don't really have to mess with anything
Yeah,
else.
it never fell apart. It stayed a hurricane. It stayed a Cat 1 the entire time.
I don't remember that happening.
Me
and
either.
I don't with Charlie. I don't remember like when it dropped to tropical storm status.
It was pretty fast, buddy.
But this is a hurricane across the entire state.
Yeah, this one though, Charlie though came in and went northeast, like northeast. So
Yeah,
it was
it was an
overwound
angle.
longer
Right.
before he got to us. That's why I thought this was kind of interesting. The interesting part was it's hauling ass. The good part is, it gets across the state pretty quickly. That's the big positive.
Yeah, it's looking the way that radar says it's looking like the eye is just above Melbourne.
Yeah, but the bad part about the fast part is it carries that momentum of its category as it hit as a 3. It carries more of that power deeper into the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
And its size. That was another thing. The size looked like some of the radars that you looked at, like, could you see Florida in there?
People are now asking, does it look like it's going to calm down in Apopka anytime soon? Yeah, it is going to.
Yeah.
By 8 o'clock this morning, all of this should kind of be offshore, and we should be dealing with almost none of it.
By the way, Monsters are coming in live starting at 5 o'clock. We got 45 more minutes with you. Then the Monsters will be on.
I know I've been farting up the studio since 20 minutes ago.
Good for you.
By the way, thank you, texting service, Real Mobile 77031. We love getting your text. Joe Tito, Tito. Jimmy couldn't be further off from the accurate spelling.
Thank you.
You got
Appreciate
the T
that.
right.
Yeah. The second iteration, Jack, I gave it a shot.
But also, so, and your talkbacks, we have those coming up as well.
Yeah, you can fire him whenever you want. Let me get to this guy right here, Joey. Joey's in Longwood. Hey, Joey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jim.
How are you, friend?
Very good. Yeah, just wanted to let you know, definitely Yingling is a domestic.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is going to be the best running joke of the entire hurricane.
And Chuck Daly is the man.
Okay. I don't know why did you give Chuck Daly a shout out?
Well, he does his thing. He's drinking beers and playing golf.
That's John Daly.
John Daly, yeah.
That's John Daly. Chuck
John
Daly was the
Daly,
coach
bad.
of the
Magic.
Magic.
And
he was also,
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. You get a buzzer,
I'm
by
sure
the way.
he's had a beer or two.
Yeah. It was Joe Tito. Tiddo. He was the coach.
Also does his thing, like the caller said.
My buddy in Longwood, Matt, just reports at 4:15. Power's out.
Oh, is it really?
Just lost power at 4:15.
I text my girls. They're all up in the Longwood area, and I did not hear, two of them anyway, and I did not hear back, so I do not know.
They might be sleeping. It is 4 in the morning.
I know, but I got one of them that's pretty anxious.
Yeah.
And doesn't really handle stuff like this quite well.
Yeah.
So the other one could sleep through. I mean, they could drop a train on her, and she wouldn't even roll over. All right, 407-916-1041. Got some talkbacks on?
I do. Here we go. Let's take a listen.
Let me get some coffee here.
Hey, it's Mike from Long Beach. Just wanted to say thank you guys for broadcasting all through the night live. It is nasty here. It's rainy, windy.
Where's here?
No power
Ormond
at the
Beach.
house. We are just west of 95 on Interstate 40. In case everybody's wondering, no power. Be safe.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank
Appreciate that very much. Man, that sounded terrible.
Now 3 million people in Florida out of power.
Really?
Yeah.
That just increased just a few minutes?
I'm going on poweroutage.us.
All right, yeah. No power in Mineola. Cell signal is trash. Can hear you guys great, though. Can you give me a shout-out for my area? Yeah, shouting out Mineola, guys. Hope you're all right.
I think I heard you talking a little bit. It was yesterday. The timeline is really getting fuzzy right now. But were you one of the haves versus haves not when it comes to the iPhone that can communicate via satellite?
We are have-nots here.
I am also a have-not.
Yeah, we do not. We did not upgrade to the. Is it 18.1 beta software?
I could be. It's iPhone 14 and up. C-Lane?
Yes, it's partly the software. I have iOS 18, but I still have a phone that has a button. On the front of it.
Good for you.
I do not have the iPhone 14.
So I have a 14, but I didn't go with the 18 update yet, the operating system.
Why, are you cool?
No, I heard someone down the hall say, "Oh, it's still in beta. I'm going to wait on that."
Oh, yeah.
It's out of beta now. I don't know. It's not in beta anymore.
I don't know.
Apple doesn't make a lot of mistakes, though. I mean,
You know what? You're right on that. You're right
Well, they
on
don't.
that.
I mean, when
And
you
if they do,
comparatively, they don't.
They fix them rather quickly.
They really do.
Yeah,
They don't like that. They don't like anything nicking their reputation. So the good thing about Apple and having their products is they jump on that ish quick.
Our buddy Brad is reporting in from Brevard saying Milton Eye rolling through right now, hanging in there. So
yeah,
the calmness of the eye coming through is always a nice moment when you're dealing with a hurricane.
Yeah, another person saying they're getting nailed in Port Orange.
I asked this of some of our coworkers earlier when we were just kind of hanging, kind of killing time. Have you guys ever been walked outside during the eye of a storm?
Yes.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, we did it during Charlie, buddy, and learned my lesson quickly. It was a bad move.
Oh.
Yeah, again, we walked out on our back patio and then walked out front a couple times during Charlie, and a couple of those wisps of air blew through, and they're like, no, I know what that means. Yeah, again, here's the thing, man. It's the old Ron White joke. I'll say it again. It's like, it's not that the wind's blowing, it's what the wind's blowing. And if you take a lawn chair to the face at 40 miles an hour, it is going to feel bad. So I'm going to tell you, Ceiling, I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't have that gene where a lot of people have that, where they feel like they need to be on the edge of life to feel alive.
Right.
I've got the exact opposite of that. I've got so much to live for. I don't roll any dice when it comes to that.
Good for you.
I really don't. And to be honest with you, and I have this weird fear of being electrocuted because I got shocked pretty bad as a kid by a 220 dryer outlet.
Oh, bah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We were moving from.
First of all, who says "oh bah"? That was the weirdest reaction. But go on.
We lived in West Virginia, and as we were moving back here to, well, it had been in Plaque at the time. I was trying to help as much as possible, and I said, "Well, I'll unplug the dryer." Well, I was young. I was probably in the 3rd grade, whatever it was. And I remember from the front jumping up over the dryer to grab the outlet. That's the only way I could do it. I was going to just use my weight to pull it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my hand slipped, and it came out halfway. And then I jumped up to grab it again. And when I jumped up to grab it this time, I reached all the way around and hit the outlet that was still plugged in, and it zapped me pretty darn good. I did not care for that. And after that time, I remembered I do not blink around with electricity.
It's scary. Even some of the smaller shocks. I don't know if you ever.
Oh yeah, 110. I've been hit by a lot. 110.
I don't know if you ever, as a kid, took apart those disposable cameras that once the battery charged up, for the flash.
Right. Yeah.
If you touch that thing the wrong way. Whew.
Yeah, I tell you another one too that auto mechanics deal with all the time. I don't know if it's the capacitor for your starter. I believe because it holds a charge to turn the starter, and if you don't
lovely.
If you don't discharge that capacitor,
yeah,
and you cross it over with a screwdriver while you're working with it, it'll deliver a really nasty little hit there. I know that.
Not fun.
Yeah, not fun at all. And I've been popped by 110 so many times, it's not even funny because as we rebuild these houses over and over.
Almost seems like a humble brag right now.
No, it's not. It's a stupid
number
brag.
of 110s I've had.
It's a stupid brag because of how careless I am. But as we built these rental houses over the years and did these renovations as we've done all the years, you learn how to do mild electrical work. I don't do anything serious, but I can wire, outlets and stuff like that. I've been doing that for a while.
I would say that's what I do, and I've been doing some since we moved into this new place.
Handyman stuff. I mean, nothing severe.
Month and a half into the new place, and my wife recently learned that just because the breaker for the light is off does not mean that the GFI is also off.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. But I've been hit a couple times by that. Those are a little bit more. Those are just wake up calls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I don't like that feeling, and then you move on.
I don't even turn off the power if it's the doorbell.
Yeah, me either.
I get one with the weed whacker you gave me.
Yeah.
If I put my elbow down, it hits where the spark plug connection, it'll zap me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, just by plan. I worked it that way.
Yeah, I got to keep it's like I'm shooting skeet shooting. You got to keep that elbow up.
Yeah. Well, I tell you another thing. Old time mechanics back in the day, this would have been years ago. I used to see my uncles do it all this time. You would have a coil pack that would that would power your spark plugs. The coil would send the spark to the plugs, and that's of course what runs your internal combustion engine.
Duh.
Right? Everybody knows that. Well, one of the ways to find out if your coil was any good is you would pull the coil wire off, right? You would stick a screwdriver through the coil wire connection point, and you would lean it up against the engine block, turn the motor over, and if you saw the spark jump from the screwdriver to the engine block, you knew that you had spark, and you could kind of rule that out as your problem.
This sounds like something you learned from a listener. Like
no, I got uncles, buddy, that are quote shade tree mechanics, and these are the ways you do these things cheaply. But if you reach in there while that thing is turning to reposition that screwdriver to get it closer to the block so you can see the spark jump, and then your uncle who thinks it's a hoot to see you at 12 years old take that shock through your system, that's exactly what happened. That's a nice little jolt too. I got hit with a full-time cattle prod as well. That's no fun. And I'm not talking one of those. Actually, I'm not talking one of those. This is a fun cattle prod. I'm talking about 8D battery cattle prod that moves a 2,000-pound cow down the road. Somebody hit me in the ass with one of those.
Well, it's not a real cattle prod if it can't move like actual cattle.
That was like I'll tell you what that was like. That was like if you took a pair of pliers and heated them up with a torch and then grabbed somebody as hard as you could. That's what that felt like.
Ow.
Yeah, no fun. That was a little prank.
It might be fun to watch.
That was a little prank from a friend of mine.
You've seen some things, huh?
I've been around a little bit, buddy. I've done a couple things.
Hey, look at him.
I got some miles. Hey, Seth, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, bud? Hey, man, I thought the storm was calming down. It's whipping like a... Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's coming north side now, so, yeah, we're getting nailed in Belle Isle. Don't know if anyone else is calling in, but I guess the wind switched up.
That's funny because you're the second caller we've gotten from Belle Isle saying the same thing, and the guy called about an hour ago.
Lay down and went to sleep, man. It is. I just saw a big Australian Spanish tree. Just, oh man, it's getting it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see it.
Snapped off and landed on someone's house.
Oh, that
I'm
sucks.
Staying in my garage.
All right, yeah, do that, buddy. All right, man.
Maybe it's coming off the lake, but yeah, let everyone know it ain't over yet.
Yeah, it's not, buddy. Hang in there, man. We'll hopefully it'll be better soon.
Yeah, so the back half of the storm is going to be moving through Brevard as we, over this next hour.
Yeah, the NBC now has the eye over Melbourne right now. So what we're seeing is the remnants of it as it whips back around.
Yeah.
And in just a couple hours, this thing should be offshore and it should be gone. So you only have a couple more hours to deal with this theoretically. Hopefully that will be the case. Captain Jerry, how you doing, buddy, over there in Winter Park? How's things?
Oh, man, it's getting worse. Man, first and foremost, thank you guys for doing this, because all the news channels, the local news channels, they're just covering the storm, and as it's going out, they're not staying local to the area like you guys are. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And look, we're just leaning on information that you guys are giving us. This is just like real-time reporting from people who are out there experiencing the storm. That's it.
Exactly my point, and thank you so much for being there for us, because, man, it's very stressful, obviously, and I really feel like, it's picking up now worse than it has been all night.
Right.
Thankfully, I've still got power, but, with the winds gusting the way they are now, it's getting scary.
I had a buddy that lives in Winter Park and texted me a little bit earlier and said the wind was pretty hairy over there as well, making sure we were all safe.
Yeah, and I'm in Seminole County, Winter Park, too, so unincorporated. So that's like, Eastbrook area.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. I used to live in that area, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate it, Jerry. Good hearing from you, man. What? Oh, did you have something to ask him? I'm sorry.
No, I was just reacting to you saying that you used to live somewhere. I'm like, that could be a lot of places.
It's so
Put
funny.
a pin in the map.
It is so funny how that thing is kind of taken on its own life. That I've had a couple of houses. That's fascinating to people, by the way, isn't it? I don't know.
Kind of. I mean, listen,
why is that so fascinating to you guys?
Because, I would say most people buy a residence to live in. You actually smartly do it as an investment where you move, you fix it up, you sell it at a profit, you move, you fix it up, you sell it at a
You're
profit.
like the slowest flipper there is.
Yeah.
Well, the way we do
because you do it because you're living there.
Yeah, we do it, and then of course, there's tax implications. You have to stay there for a certain amount of time to avoid those and stuff. So there are other things.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are things you have.
Is that what homestead means?
Well, sometimes. I mean, some of it, I guess. Yeah, homestead a little bit, but also you got to remember when we move into those homes. The way we do it, we don't move in with a giant pile of cash and go, we're going to do all this right now. We try to kind of parse it out so it lasts a couple years in doing it, and it doesn't get overwhelming. So to go in and like flippers, it's the exact opposite. They go in, they bring in a crew of people, 8-10 people.
No, I know. Trust me. Ask my mom about her terrible flip job.
That specializes in, they'll have a drywall crew, a paint crew, a plumbing crew, an electrical crew. And the person that's doing the flip just brings them in individually and they build it all out. Those jobs are usually done in, 15 to 20 days because they want it back on the market quickly.
Right.
They don't want to pay mortgages on it. They just want to get it back out there. We don't really look at it like that.
Listen, I know. I just bought a house from Open Door, which is pretty much the textbook example of somebody that wants to underpay the seller.
Yeah.
Quick flip. I mean, I think new carpets and a coat of paint.
Yeah.
They listed it. The listing said fenced-in backyard. Absolute bull. Yeah. I mean, I could not let my dog I trust, but others, it's not closed in.
Right.
I don't have a fence.
I will tell you, guys, what happens also is this. You find out the repairs that are the least expensive and the most impactful. And then you basically go find a place in an area you want to live that meets those requirements.
Like paint job, because if you look on the county website and the house is a different color, you're like, these guys really did a number on this house.
Well, I mean, I will be honest with you. The house we're in right now, the only reason, because I actually don't know and didn't know going in that the house we bought was a real good deal, because it's an old house. It required a lot of work. But the one advantage is I said to myself, if we just came in and did this, which would have been way less, I mean, the repair bill would have been way less than a normal one. I thought we could flip it if we kind of got mad about it. If we were like, oh, well, we got in here in the wrong time, we can just kind of get out of this thing and still make a little bit of money and then just kind of move on to the next project or whatever. But my wife loves this house. We love the property. We love where we are. So I think we're going to take our time on this one. But a lot of guys are exactly like that. That's why I would never, and I'm not dogging flippers.
Did you say that same thing about the place with the elevator?
Yeah, no.
We're going to take our time on this one.
I didn't, none of that. There was can I tell you? That was supposed to end this cycle. The Baldwin house was supposed to end this cycle of buying and renovating homes. I want to play golf.
Yeah, you didn't need to renovate Baldwin.
Baldwin was set and ready to go.
Yeah.
That was a UPS executive owned that property as a vacation property, and he came there so rarely that when we did the tour of the house, we went into the bedroom, and what he did, because this guy was, stank rich. Stank.
When your vacation property has an elevator.
Yeah.
You know,
And every possible upgrade that you could offer in a Baldwin house when they were building these things, these townhouses, they took every upgrade. Everything was top of the line, and they were dying to get out of this thing. We really stole that property. We could have flipped that one, never moving in and making a pretty good profit on that one. But that one was ready to go. But that was supposed to end this cycle. We were supposed to move in and live there, except I hated Baldwin Park.
Really?
Yeah, it's got that one thing I don't like, buddy.
People?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that.
Right on top of you?
Right on top of me.
You know,
nowhere to hide, buddy. Nowhere to hide. I don't like that.
Speaking of you not liking people, you were the first person to tell me this, but definitely not the last. Because tomorrow now, and I don't know if when the flights are going to start back up, but tomorrow, Friday, I'm supposed to fly out and go to Napa, and you said, don't go on the wine train.
Don't go on the wine train.
And you gave me reasons why.
Yes.
And then little by little, more people said, you're not going on that wine train, are you? And I was like, no.
Yeah, don't do the
Jimmy
wine.
told me.
Yeah, do not do the wine train.
Jimmy told me people get really storytelling.
I'll tell you what it's like for me. Like, when I go on cruises, which I love, and I know that's basic bitch stuff, I get it. But I don't do the excursions as a rule because I don't want to take that ferry boat and be somewhere I can't get back quickly. And that's one of the reasons I do that. I don't like being like, I didn't park underneath that area because everybody parks you in. I couldn't stand not knowing I couldn't get out of here if I had to. So that's kind of why.
Yeah.
But the wine train, you're just stuck with a bunch of drunk people you don't know, and it gets real furry at the end of that thing.
Yeah.
That third hour is really testy. You start hearing about family problems from people that you do not want to know.
Right.
Ever tell you about my uncle who did some stuff in a sleeping bag with me once? I'm like, yeah, I don't know you.
Listen, I've been on the Monster Brew bus, and if it went 4 more hours, that's exactly what I would expect.
What would happen. Yeah. Exactly right.
By the way, Friday morning we'll have the latest on the Monster Brew bus.
Very good. All right, 407.
That's right. It's supposed to happen.
916-104. The irony of it being perfect this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it might be. So really, it depends on the two locations, Intracoastal and Salty Sisters, how they fare. Make sure they're open for business. If that's the case, we could take a bus of people over there.
Oh yeah.
But if not, then we have to kind of.
You have to worry out. Well, you have to also wonder, how that looks. I mean, you're there partying in a bus and people don't have power. Their houses have trees in them and stuff.
Let's wait till the light of day to decide on how things are over in Brevard. We're right now in the eye of the storm.
Very good. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. We'll take this call and then take a little break, Jack, if you don't mind. Let's go to...
If you must, or we could go all the way to the end.
Jeff in Port Orange. How you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. How you doing, Jim?
Good, boss.
Hey, looks like over here in this Port Orange area, I know the last storm flooded a lot, but this, in my driveway alone, the last storm, the water never even came up my driveway. It's about 3 feet from the garage door this time.
Oh,
so there's
boy.
a lot of flooding got to be going on. In my backyard,
yeah.
It's touching. It's just touching the porch. Screened-in porch. Last time, retention pond didn't even come out of the pond.
Yeah.
And that's about 30-foot difference. So it's going to be bad. I don't know if you guys even looked it up yet. Maybe you guys couldn't give everybody the news update on it. But the Halifax River over here, tide charts. Have you guys looked up the tide charts? Because that makes a big impact with us over here.
Buddy, I haven't, but we did talk about that in regards to St. Augustine because they evacuated St. Augustine because even just during a king tide, St. Augustine has problems. We knew that was going to be the case. I was worrying about the Tomoka as well. Nobody ever talks about the Tomoka River over there, and people live up and down that thing. That's near the Ormond Beach area.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about that or Halifax. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you, buddy.
No, well, Jack's probably not doing that. He probably Googled or something.
Yeah, Jack,
you got it. I'm on it.
Jack's never busy.
King's tide.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for calling, buddy, man. Stay safe out there. Yeah, Jack, you're not busy. You do it.
No, but we do have an answer to a question you posed a little earlier when Flexi James called.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Jim, it's a Samsung A23.
Okay.
That's his phone.
It's got a pretty good sound system.
Okay, buddy.
What's up, C-Lane?
Hey, buddy.
Still in the house.
Isn't that incredible how
you guys
good
have
that
a good
sounds?
evening. Well,
that is.
I'm going to bed, man.
Okay,
I'm
buddy.
shot.
It's a Samsung with a dongle on the back of it that's got an RE20 popping out of it.
God almighty, it sounds so
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens. And I don't care where he is. Every time he calls, it sounds exactly like that. And every time, anybody I talk to on the phone, it is like a scratchy. It's like listening to an old drive-in speaker.
Yeah. Here's
What's that, Dad?
Yeah.
There you go. Here's a talkback I like because we have no idea where it comes from.
We're getting crushed right now. Tons of rain and lots of wind.
Okay.
Did he say? Hold on. Oh, he
We're
said
getting
lots.
crushed. Yeah.
I thought he said
We're getting
loss
crushed
of
right
wind.
now. Tons of rain and lots of wind.
Yeah, that's like
loss of wind.
It sounded like he lost the wind. I was like, this seems like it's better for you if you lost it.
Jack Deputy Scott checking in, saying, in your opinion, wife and I are supposed to fly to Jersey on Friday around 7 in the evening. You think it's going to happen? I know you answered him.
I totally do.
It will happen.
Believe so. Yeah. I believe the airport. All they're waiting is for wind to drop to a certain level. And then they can resume operations. They want to resume as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the more they're going to have to take to correct all the people who had to wait. My daughter is supposed to fly in later today, after 5 o'clock. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when we talked to George Speak at Orlando Sanford Airport, they have to wait for winds to drop under about 25 or under.
Right.
But I think OIA, they can handle a little more wind and still have flight operations.
Yeah. Their setback is what they need to do is they get to a certain level, under a certain level of wind, and then they go, all right, now it's time for disaster assessment. And so then they have a team that goes around and checks the entire place and says, when can we resume? And then it's up to the airlines. And if they have missed flights because of, which ones should have come in at a time, and that's the one that is supposed to load out at 7 a.m. I only am very into this because I was supposed to get out of town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was supposed to, I think that guy just said 7 a.m. That was my flight out on Friday. We were advised by Delta not to change it. They said, listen, just keep it. And if we have to change it, we'll change it for you. It'll be a later one.
That's cool.
Amy Caulfield, randomly enough, was supposed to fly out at the same time as me, just to a different place. And she said hers was already changed, and that was yesterday. She texted me and said that. So everybody's kind of having a different...
Could that be a destination issue? If she was flying to the East Coast, we know that these storms are still kind of messing up in the Savannah and the Carolinas and going up the East Coast. So were you going out west?
Yeah, I'm headed out to Napa. But I'm headed through Atlanta, which is a Delta hub. Her issue, I don't know what airline she was on, but her issue logistically was that she was supposed to connect and end up in a smaller airport.
Yeah, got it.
Something that doesn't have a whole lot of, like Atlanta to San Francisco, there's going to be a handful of those in a day. Orlando to Atlanta, handful of those in a day. They're going to have places to put me if need be. With her, I think they just needed to make sure, like, hey, we need to make sure we can get there,
right?
Because we got a thing to do.
And you got to remember, man, there are people who maybe did have travel plans that will cancel them just basically because of the effect the hurricane had on their property.
It was another thing we were worried about.
Yeah.
This is the first. It's not the first trip without the baby. We did a night in Tampa. We went to Burns Steakhouse. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But
did you go to the dessert room?
Yeah, we did.
That's the thing. That is one of the finest wine collections in all of the United States of America. That restaurant.
They let everybody tour it.
We
went down there. We went and looked at it. We went to the dessert room. I had the very, very expensive old fashioned, where the bourbon is fat washed in beef fat.
Yeah.
And then it's smoked, and there's a slice of truffle on it. It's really just
$30.
Just burn it, buddy. $30 would be like on happy hour prices, I think.
Really?
But maybe 45. But that was the first time without the baby. First one night. This is a trip, and this is across the country. So part of our worry was like, hey, if Hurricane Milton comes through and de-drills our house, we can't really leave the kid
that's tough.
Our in-laws and go, all right, we're going out to wine country.
Right.
We rented a convertible.
Now that that's over, let's party.
F you guys.
And by the way, rent a convertible. That's a good move.
Yeah, we did it.
And you want to drive out there. And by the way, one of the other things about Napa that people probably need to do more, and when you travel in general, just do this. Rent a car and stop going on the tours. The tours are cool. You can find the good ones. Really, the number one thing with the tours are where they stop, not that they stop. There are a lot of the big commercial wineries out there that aren't going to give you a really cool experience. You're just going to be in a big group of people experiencing the same thing. But if you go like to Tedesca, I think it's Tedesca Winery and some other small ones, those are wineries that don't even really produce wine for the market. They have people that are on their mailing list, and they actually just produce wine for their mailing list. You can't even buy it retail.
Yeah.
Those are the places you want to go. When we were there one time, we actually got to pop the crust of grapes on on one of the stomping pits where they would stomp it, and then you throw something over it, and that the holes and crusts of the the holes of the grapes dry up and float to the top. So one of the things is you take it's basically a boat oar, like a canoe oar, and they break that down. And we were there to see that happen. And then they were going through the process.
And is that something that is still part of the process of winemaking? Like
for small wineries, it is.
Or is it something just sort of pageantry for the people to visit?
No, it's not, because, buddy, I got to tell you, one of the things with this particular tour is we did a little picnic at this place. There's only like 7 of us. And he was telling us they only make this many cases of wine, and they compared it to like Beringer or any of the other giant wineries out there. And it just gives you an idea of how corporate those are, as opposed to how kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? More personally fashioned.
Independent, artisan.
Right. Yeah.
Handcrafted.
And, buddy, I'm telling you.
Buddy's got his thesaurus out.
Thank you. I will tell you, and I tell everybody, when you're there, buy wine and have it shipped to Florida. Don't not do that. Take enough money to buy a couple cases of wine, even if it costs you a few $100s, and have it sent home, because you won't find anything like that here or there, buddy. Because there's just so many wines that are only made for people there in the valley or people for lists, so you'll never even have an opportunity to do it. And the tasting rooms are wonderful as well. Very eccentric people out there.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Very unique, eccentric. I only wear white linens and I walk barefoot kind of people. I think you'll love it. All right, 407-916-141.
I can picture C-Lane do it with that look.
Yeah. Very Ricardo Montalban out there.
Don't love white, but the barefoot thing probably suits me.
Very good. All right, Jack, we have some talkbacks we need to get to before we get out of here.
Oh, absolutely. Let's check in with our brother.
Hey, how's it, everyone? We holding it down here in the Atlantic. Managed to get a few hours of sleep, but 1 a.m. was pretty rough. Gusts had to be about 80 miles an hour. Everything going good. Temperature changed a lot. Winds come down quite a bit, being on the lee side of this storm with the eye to the north. But we'll see what we get on the backside. Check in with you later when you guys come on the air.
Thank you, buddy.
Aloha.
Aloha.
All right, here's another one.
I went to the pharmacy yesterday and I said, if I take a Viagra, can I get it over the counter? And he said, no, but if you take 2, you might. Be safe, Florida.
Okay, buddy, I like that. Don't grumble. There's no grumbling.
No, that was I'm impressed. That was not bad.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
Well, I broke out the old Jim Colbert cup, coffee cup, and I'm making coffee before the power goes out. God dang, man, this is come one direction, go in the other direction. Power's flickering. Hang in there, people. We'll get through this crap. God, it ruins our sleep, too.
Okay,
this
buddy.
sucks.
It's fine. Yeah,
Well, there's one more, and it's also by Larry, but this is funny because this is something we were talking about off the air, and he's referencing it now, almost like he could hear us.
Okay.
Jimmy, I know you said that you've never done cocaine before.
I've never.
Back in my day. This is how I'm feeling now. It's like, I can't go to sleep. Should I drink coffee? Should I do more blow? Cocaine's no good, but we just had a blip, a little
Beg to differ.
arc blip, but I still have power.
Yeah.
God.
Thanks, man.
So inconvenient.
Yeah, no, buddy, we got it.
This storm.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I've never even seen cocaine, for the record.
You keep saying that.
I know. It's 100% true. I say it because it's true. I've never.
Exactly, C-Lane.
And I will tell you, we talked about this earlier when we were kind of having a drink there.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why is because I think people knew that I'm not down with it, so nobody brought it out around me. I'm telling you, we were. Now, look, all those monster gigs, trust me, people around me had it everywhere, but they would never bring it out around me for some reason. Or maybe I just got lucky, but I've never even seen it.
Maybe it's your energy. Maybe say, that's the guy who least needs it.
Trust me, I get it. Trust me, I would
Let's not amp him up.
I don't want to be around me most of the time. Definitely not on coke.
It's like
I took half an Adderall one time, and I almost divorced myself.
it's like you kind of eye you down and go. It looks like he's probably already had some.
Yeah,
it seems like his energy is high.
It's so funny. I don't have.
You don't have a big nose. That would be the other reason.
Yeah, I've never even I got to tell you, man. But all the stories I heard of that stuff growing up, and what I'll man, I'm going to date myself here. This is what kept me from doing cocaine. Are you ready? This is what kept me from. Do you remember Andy Gibb?
Yeah.
Okay, so
he was the fourth Bee Gee. He was a Bee Gee brother.
So the Bee Gee brothers, right? Maurice.
Here we go.
Oh God,
Barry. I know that because of SNL, the Barry Gibb talk show.
Yeah. And then he was the lead.
Talking it up.
And then it was Maurice
on the Barry Gibb talk
and
show.
Well, Andy, and the other one is Clive.
Yeah, and that's not Clive. But anyway, they had a younger brother named Andy Gibb. He wasn't in the Bee Gees. He had his own career in the 70s, right? And he was
like one of those side jacks.
Oh, he's exactly.
Robin.
There you go. Yeah. He was the heartthrob of the bunch. Because let's face it, the Bee Gees, not a handsome bunch of boys. Very talented, but not handsome at all, right? They actually look like they run a homemade Halloween treat.
Well, Barry, he was the looker in the group.
He was okay, but he had that lion hair. But Andy was a stunner. This guy was like a really good looking, and this guy blanked his entire life completely to hell with cocaine. Like his teeth fell out. It was the worst. He wound up like falling down a stairwell and dying.
This guy did not know how to cocaine.
But I remember seeing that as a kid, and it left such a great impact on me. I'm like, well, I'm not messing with that stuff ever. And that's exactly why I never did. Never.
Wow.
What did he chew on it?
He ate it.
What a trip.
Yeah. And then Eddie Van Halen, too.
I just quit because my nose would bleed.
Yeah. I never did it. Is it good? What's it like?
C-Lane?
Jack?
I just heard it makes you feel like Superman.
I'm busy checking my Ring doorbell,
Yeah.
C-Lane.
I've heard it makes you feel like Superman. Like you feel invincible and you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah.
I heard you can start and end 16 businesses in a session.
Absolutely.
Right.
You got all these great ideas.
Exactly.
And all this energy.
A lot of table worship.
Yeah.
Heard that term?
And your mandible will start going in directions you weren't aware
really?
to go. The whole jaw thing
That's how I used to tell when people are on X.
Yeah.
Is they'd gnaw off their bottom jaw.
That's what my friend, my old roommate who is a bartender, if he wanted to call somebody out in his own nonchalant way, he'd be like, "Hey, bud, you chewing on some invisible sandwiches there?" This guy's chewing on invisible sandwiches.
My man's got in some ghost gum.
Yeah.
Some ghost gum in there. People are texting asking, like, when's this going to be over? Now, I think people have kind of reached their limit with the winds and the rain, and they're like, hey, okay, this is enough now. As we look at the radar here, this is the NBC Now view. This thing is now moving at 18 miles an hour, which means it's going to get out of here even more quickly.
Which is nice.
The eye seems to be like off the coast of Melbourne right now. It looks to be fully in the ocean. If not within the next hour, it certainly will be completely out to ocean. The problem is you're still getting that left rotation of storms, and it's still going to affect the area over on the coastal. You guys, Port Orange, Daytona, up in that area, you are still going to deal with this for a couple more hours. Internally in Orlando, Apopka, Winter Spring, Seminole County, Sumter County, Lake County, you guys should see that dying pretty quickly because the backside of the storm doesn't really have much activity. So once it clears out, there's clear skies behind that. So theoretically, by the time the sun comes up, 8 o'clock in the morning or so, you should have clear skies or at least no wind. I mean, you still have some residual winds.
Yeah, it seems we've already been hit by the part where everybody says you don't want to be in.
Right,
The up, I would use directions, but the top right of the storm.
Yeah, but as they rotate around through the back, though, C-Lane, is that we know that those are the areas that are getting pounded up there. And that starts up in Port Orange, Daytona, Ormond Beach, and then rotates down toward the southeast, which brings it into those counties I had just mentioned before.
I'm showing you right now the Tropicana field, which is missing a good chunk of its roof.
Unbelievable, man.
Absolutely.
Thank God they're not building another one.
Yeah, right down the block.
Yeah, right down the block.
What a disappointment.
Yeah, this was inevitable anyway, right? That was going to get crushed as it is.
It might be sooner than they expected, unless they keep it open air.
Yeah, oh, man.
It's like, hey, do you fix it?
Hey.
Right?
No.
It's now Tropicana Stadium.
Yeah.
Still the same amount of people there.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's like a Will Smith movie.
Sealand gets the promo.
Yeah. It is like a it is. It's like one of those movies where you look at it.
There's
it's
actually
like
more people there now than the last Rays game.
Post
Actually, you're not wrong because it was a staging area
Right.
for Power Cruise.
Yeah.
And by the way,
That's why all
everyone's
the lights
reported.
are on. I must be.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't just have that, you know.
What were you going to say, Jack?
But it's almost like a tarp roof that's
Yeah.
on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it only costs $40, $50 to fix.
Well, we know what the wind mitigation there is. It doesn't handle 100-mile-an-hour well.
No.
Because it got messed up. And I saw some. I just saw some footage from Siesta Key, which is down there in the Captiva Sanibel Island area. Those connecting islands down by Sarasota, and they did get storm surge. But the video I saw didn't look to be as bad as they were expecting. There was a walkway that led down to the beach. That was underwater, but you could actually still see the planks. So although it was up, it didn't look like it was as catastrophic as they thought it may be. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be damage. There's going to be tons of damage. But they were expecting, 6-8 feet, and it looked like maybe 3 or 4. But it's weird when you look out over a dock and there's nothing but ocean.
Yeah.
Like when you look from your back porch and it's just ocean when there's supposed to be, 100 feet of beach in a dock there, and it's just water,
That's how it feels like on a cruise for me.
Yeah. Oh, really? Funny.
You're just looking outside and you're like, man.
Just water.
You just definitely have to stay on this thing the whole time. You have to stay on.
So one of the things I was going to do today, as I was in the room preparing to come in this morning, is there's a kid down in the Keys, and he has a YouTube channel, and he lives on a sailboat, and he's just by himself on a pretty good size 30-foot plus sailboat, and he's riding it out down in the Keys. And he was doing the whole thing. He's young. He's probably 28 years old. And he was basically doing the whole idea of, hey, this is what it's like. This is what it's like. He was going over his anchor lines. Seemed very knowledgeable. I was going to shoot him a text and just talk to him, but I don't know if he would have been able to even do that at the point where we were going to be on the air. So I'm interested to see how he did.
Stream, I'm sure.
He was putting up videos on Insta.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to try to get him to call. But anyway, we're going to get on and out of here.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, we did.
That time flew.
Yeah, that time it flew. Yeah.
Hey, thanks to everyone who called and texted and sent talkbacks and stuff and shared.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. So we're going to get out of here. The Monsters of the Morning will be up next, and we'll see you again at 3 o'clock for the Jim Colbert Show. C-Lane, thanks for dropping by and hanging out, boss. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jack, good job as always.
Yeah, and fortunately, if you're in Brevard, this storm is just moving offshore right now, and
That's right.
And we're sending it out to sea.
Yeah, and the Monsters will have the latest updates, and of course, they'll have an assessment of what's happened afterwards. They'll be looking for your calls and talkbacks as well, guys. So be sure to interact as much as possible. On behalf of C-Lane Jack, I'm Jim, and we are the Jim Colbert Show. The Monsters are up next here on Real Radio.
Yeah.
Storm coverage on Real Radio is sponsored by Kaufman and Lind. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because your case matters. Contact them at whenyouneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets.